Good morning, everyone, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good evening. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Ryan just took off. He couldn't handle the pressure. It's a lot. So I'm Robert. I'm the kaiju one. Ryan, the collector, just took off, and now he's back. We got Al, Sneaky Figures, and we are joined by the illustrious Jason today
Very
from
generous. Thanks.
from our from our great Facebook group. So let's go around the horn. Let's say our hellos, and then we'll just kind of jump right into it. Okay. So we'll start with Jason. Jason, you're the newest guy.
Okay. I'm Jason. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I've been collecting a long time, and I got to say it's been a great group to be a part of. So I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Al.
Hey guys, it's me, Al again. Hopefully you've been watching the last couple streams. Again, I've been collecting since I was a kid as well, like most of us here. A lot of us 80s babies are sucked into this life and will never get out.
Yeah, unfortunately.
My name's Ryan, or the Collector, and behind me you can see is my Lego City. So it's one of my other passions I have. Overall, this week's been a crazy week. Car issues, truck went down, but a lot of pre-orders put in, and I got something from eBay that I'll probably share later in the month. I'm guessing it will be in my top 6 for this month. So here to talk about some toys and how it was back in the 80s when I was growing up. So I'm glad to be on.
Yeah, Ryan had to do that flex this morning with us, or this evening with us. Look at that. Look at that Lego. I mean, to have a room that big dedicated to your collection. Living the dream, man.
That is goals. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go the AliExpress route with my Lego collection.
It works though, right, Al?
It works. It works.
Unless you care whether the studs say Lego or not, they're just as good. If you make a mistake, you can't pry those things apart, but they work good.
And then, hey, years ago, my wife had these 2 twins over, one of her friends' kids, and they took a chainsaw to my Lego City, like a toy chainsaw.
What?
Oh, I thought you meant
I said never again.
Whoa, yeah.
It was not funny. I said, why did you not stop those kids? And that was the end of the story. I don't think my wife ever came down for 10 years with kids the rest of the time.
That's a pretty good trade-off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now it's like you don't tell her because she's not allowed in.
Well, remember the story he told? She came down because the realtor was there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
And, hey, and I tell her, turn on the TV so you can't hear me.
All right, let's see who's in the chat. Let's see who's here. We got KJ. Hey KJ, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Let's keep going up. Hey Ray, first stream, awesome, very good. Super dude, what's up, man? Thank you for joining. Got the chosen 112, nice name. Hey all. Ray, hey, how's it going? So let's see, we got Ray again. What are we, in a gang or a mob?
Can't it be wrong?
Hey, I invited your brother from another mother. Yeah, he's already here. Yeah, good.
There
So
you go.
let's go. We got, what else we got that's here that's new? Yeah, it's about it for now. So we just want to encourage you guys that when you're in the streams, communicate, chat, get your messages out, get your comments out. Sometimes what you say can lead to everybody having a really great discussion on an interesting topic. So if you have something to share, please do so. We appreciate it, and we'll be watching to see who's who's engaging with us. So please do so. So Philippe is here. Hey, Philippe. Ray is the brother from another mother. All right. So we'll get right into it, I guess, today. I'm going to start off with, I mentioned it earlier, I'm doing a channel membership. The channel membership, there are going to be 2 tiers eventually, but right now there's just 1 tier. It's 99 cents. It's 99 cents a month. And what it is going to do is it's going to give you exclusive content. You're going to have exclusive giveaways for members, exclusive Q&A streams, and more. So what your money is going towards is it's going to help us or help me update and use the pay version of this streaming StreamYard, because the one that we're using is not as conducive to getting a very smooth show going along. So we're going to use that money and pump it right back in. If you are a member already and you go on my page, you can see that I've posted some pictures and a video of the Mafex John Wick that I have not made available to anyone else. So if you are a member, you can go and you can access those and see them first before anyone else. And I give a little bit of a commentary on my thoughts on the figure already, because I was able to mess around with it. So if you're looking to figure out how to join, there's a link down in this video chat in the description. You can click it and join up. And like I said, we'll be doing exclusive giveaways and content just for people who are members. So trying to make the experience a little bit better. I don't want to go broke trying to help people out and make the thing a little bit easier. So yeah, so if you're interested, if you're not interested, you know, it's totally up to you guys. I will say that next month is the big Metacom event, which I mentioned in the video that I put out, I guess, a few hours ago. What I'm going to do with that event is I'm going to record the event. I'm going to make that video available to members only, probably for the first 24 or 48 hours. Then I'll make it available to everyone. But at the same time, I will be recording and posting exclusive video and exclusive pictures, which I'm not going to share with other people, for the members, so that we can all access it and we can all see it. So if you're interested in that, like I said, please just join up, and we'll see how it goes. So let's see. We've had a lot of other people joining us in the chat. Let's go through it. Yeah, Greg is in here. Great. So the member perks as of today. So today is when I'm announcing it. We have the John Wick pictures, and there's a John Wick video. And in the video, I give a little bit of commentary. The video is about 24, 25 seconds. I'll be posting content as much as I can. I'm not going to post content every day. It's just not feasible. But, you know, like information today, for example, I went to the Metacom people and I talked to them, and I got as much information as I could. Now, something like that, I would share with members first. So if there's a re-release coming, you guys would know about it first. If there are in-hand pictures and video that I have of certain figures, you guys would have it first before anyone else. I'm considering doing some of my reviews of the figures and making them available to members first. Really kind of just depends on I guess the volume of members. So we'll see how it goes. But it's starting today. Today's the first day, really, and I see that the collector is busy at work gifting out some of those memberships. So if you are here again, please make sure that you engage in the chat. If you're not engaged in the chat, you're not going to be able to get a membership. That's just how the algorithm works. We can't necessarily choose who we give memberships to, but people who are active, people who are commenting, the algorithm normally will choose people who are very active, and it's just choosing randomly as well. So again, if you're interested, great. If you're not interested, that's okay. You know, I'm not going to take it personally. I'll still be putting out content, but there will be a lot of content that will just be exclusive to members. All right. So anybody want to add anything before we start off with our first topic today? No? Okay. All right. My guy Al is busy watching the chat, and he's keeping an eye on people. So everybody everybody make sure you engage. So our first thing today is, what lines did you collect as kids? What lines did you collect as kids? Now, as a kid, I grew up in the late 70s and the 80s. I stopped collecting figures in the late 80s, and then I got back into collecting figures, I guess maybe around 1990. But I had everything that came out. I didn't have Rambo. I never got Rambo. That wasn't my thing. And I have a brother he's about 7 years younger than me. So as I was transitioning out, he was still kind of going strong with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and you know, Power Rangers and stuff like that. So funny story is, I gifted him one Christmas all of my G.I. Joe figures that I had kept pristine. I had all the accessories, all the guns, everything. Put it in a huge box, and I gave it to him. Within 6 months, 3/4 of them were broken. What are you gonna do? But shall we start off with Ryan? You want to take lead on this?
Yeah, that's fine. You
Okay.
have the slides, or
Yeah. Let me just pull that up. One moment. Okay, so let me just set it up. The floor is yours.
Okay, go to slide 18. Sorry.
All right. Well, let me get out of this then. One moment. So my PC is giving me some trouble this morning. I was doing some stuff, so I'm a little bit slow on it. I apologize, guys. $18?
Yeah, I think it's 18.
All right.
Just walk down memory lane.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
So just like Robert, I grew up in the 80s, so most of my collecting days was in the 80s. And grew up in, so walk down memory lane. So what lines did you collect as a child growing up? Our journeys as collectors, both past and present. So it's kind of different than it is today with the kids. Next slide. We didn't grow up, or I didn't grow up with the cell phone or the computer. I remember when the VHS tape, came out, and we got a recorder, and nobody in my family knew how to program it. So what I typically did, I would just put it in, hit record, and just record a bunch of hours of cartoons. And I'm telling you, that's the biggest influence I had was television. And those cartoons on Saturday morning influenced my purchasing power, what I wanted to have. But when I learned how to use that VHS tape and the recorder, that influenced me a lot. I mean, you'll see, I think G.I. Joe and Transformers were probably back to back. And then another influence was getting paid for chores and getting rewarded. It wasn't like today where you just get whatever you want. I mean, I had to put the time in, clean my room, doing the dishes, just get my mom to, put me in a car and drive 45 minutes to an hour away to Toys R Us. I don't remember a Walmart even being close to me back then. I don't even know what a Walmart was back then. Next slide. So cartoons, like I said, these were just some of the cartoons I just remembered. Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Thundercats, Alvin the Chipmunks, Mask, Smurfs. And then I was big into WWF, and I love that Hulk Hogan's Rock and Roll Wrestling on Saturday. Just loved it. Next slide. And, I believe WWF was real, too, back then. One of the earliest figures I remember getting, and I swear, I told Robert, I thought Rambo was cheaper than G.I. Joe, but for some reason I was attracted to Rambo at first. I got Rambo, and I got the terrorists or the Russians with the RPGs. Just love those figures. And then eventually, earliest memories I remember was going to Children's Palace and getting Shipwreck. And then the Dreadnoks, I remember them. Getting the twins. Those were the ones I remember the most. Now, next slide. And I don't remember getting, spoiled or anything like today, but I remember every fall getting that, the Christmas big book. I mean, they were huge phone books, man, huge. And just going through that page by page and just circling the ones I wanted. And this is just some of the pictures that brought me back, because I remember the Christmases getting the Ewok Village, Jabba the Hutt, tons of GI Joes, and I think about those were the big hauls. It's not like today you get a bunch of boxes at the door. It was my dad staying up late at night putting these things together for Christmas morning. It was pretty special. Next slide. So the major lines I remember collecting was G.I. Joe, and in the picture was probably the two of my favorite things I recall. And I'll be honest, guys, I have no idea what happened to the aircraft carrier, the USS Flag. I have no idea. I remember being there Christmas morning. I remember putting in the basement, putting a bunch of toys on it, but it's not like today, where you get something, you collect it. It was more like beat it up, tear it apart, do whatever, brother, sister, stepping on it. It was nothing. I didn't think of it as being something worth money down the road. The killer whale, I remember that. I remember what birthday I got that on. My 10th birthday, got the killer whale. I remember taking that down to Florida in a van, playing with that. So it was pretty special. Next slide. Transformers. Now, these were, I'm not trying to, I don't know if I don't know. I just remember Megatron. I thought that was a real gun, real heavy. I don't know if it was really heavy, but to me back then it was. And having those two right there and thinking about how much they're worth today if I didn't open them. But, I opened those things. I played with them. I probably broke them. But Transformers were awesome. I remember, though, my mom would always make me get the cheap ones, right? The GoBots. And but for Christmas and birthday, I typically got Transformers. Next slide. And then He-Man. I remember loving He-Man. Cartoons influenced that a lot. And I was having fun looking at these pictures and looking up the market value of them carded. And I actually thought they'd probably be worth more, but there's probably a lot of them out there today. But I remember playing with those and having tons and tons of Masters of the Universe and kids, on the block having He-Man. Next slide. And then, like I said, I love these things. These things were heavy. I could beat the heck out of my brother with it. I remember he took Iron Sheik and gave it a bunch of tattoos. I got so pissed off at him for doing that. And probably cried about it or something. Hillbilly Jim. I remember Hillbilly Jim was good to hit people with. And then Hulk Hogan, of course. But and then I see what they look like today, and I said, man, I still like the original ones. I mean, those were hefty, and they had that smell. I could still smell it today. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but those were some of my favorite lines. Of course, there was a lot of things I also collected. I remember next slide. I remember my neighbors having certain toys I was jealous of, and then we had the dark ages of collecting. This is what kind of stopped the toy collecting. Was my friend Andy across the street got that Nintendo, and I remember I had Intellivision. I don't know if anybody remembers Intellivision.
I remember.
That little knob thing, and you had to slide the little piece of plastic. It told you what the buttons would be for that game.
Yeah.
And, I was so embarrassed to have that thing, but that thing probably cost a fortune back then.
Oh
But,
yeah.
Oh, Nintendo.
Oh.
I mean, I took Excite Bike was one of my favorite games. And then, just through the next 10 years, at least, playing video games. So that's kind of stopped, my purchases of toys. Next slide. And then as I got older, got Dreamcast. So then I had the rediscover age. Kids. I'm telling you, when people have kids, it seems like it gives you an excuse to look at toys. And my daughter does not like toys. She's never liked toys. I'd always get her toys, but I would try to get her Hot Wheels or cars or something. And then I had a son, and that was even better. So, having money, the internet's huge. The picture in the mail, YouTube's really influenced collecting now. And then Facebook, collectors groups. It's insane how many groups I'm in. And I had to snooze it for 30 days because it's always on my timeline. Back in 2013, I think it was, Star Wars Black Series came out. I was picking those up, not opening. I did not open up boxes back then. And like I said in the first stream, I would just put them in my son's closet. I just stash them because I had an employee discount because my wife worked somewhere where Star Wars Black Series were sold. And I think I got like a 20% off. So I just kept buying them. And then around 2018, I took them out of that closet and put it down in my basement. I realized I had a lot of good stuff I didn't even know I had. And then I eventually sold all of them off around 2020. Lego, started doing Lego like you see behind me. I did not play with Legos as a kid. Maybe had a set here or there, but I always hated them because I couldn't get the pieces apart. And I thought it was disgusting. One of my neighbors behind me would always use his teeth to pop them open. But now I got
Does he have teeth today?
Yeah, I made up. So I made up. And then the Planet Hulk, I started reading comics and collected editions. And like I told you guys before, I think I buy a book every week. So those books cost anywhere from $50 to $100. And at retail, I think they're $150. So it is an expensive hobby. And then Hot Toys. So around 2017, I think I started getting Hot Toys. I remember going on the website, probably when Robert was buying them, and thinking about how expensive they were back then. Now I think about it today, they're even more. So Hot Toys is something I've been passionate about for some years. Next slide. And then today, I just put as much stuff I could think of. Ran out of room, of course, but Lego, Hot Toys, G.I. Joe. It's funny about G.I. Joe. My wife and kids went to a lake to get on a boat, and I don't like boating. I'm not a boating person. So I said, why don't you guys go on the boat? And I stayed behind, and they left me alone. I went to GameStop. I bought my first G.I. Joe 6-inch. So I went down a bad path after that, if it's, according to my wife. Spent a lot of money. Valverse, I do buy Valverse. I know some people don't like Valverse, but I like both lines. My son loves Valverse because he likes he wants to be an engineer, and he likes the idea of someone starting his own business and doing toy design. So He's interested in that. Four Horsemen again, Mythic Legions, and Figure Obscura. I do collect. Marvel Legends, I collect those. Mafex or Mafex, however you say it. I do collect those. Thanks to Robert, I have a Robert pile. That's humongous in my one of my spare bedrooms. I got to take a picture of that. It's insane. Now I'm trying all summer. I'm going to try to throw boxes away, and I did throw away one. The Dark Knight Returns with the horse. I threw that away today. It was ripped already when I got it.
Ryan, throw them all away.
I know. I need to get rid of them. The problem is I need to store the extra pieces somewhere. So I've been working on that. McFarlane Toys. I said I was going to get out of it, but guess what? I bought some vehicle last week, and I bought another one today. Mezco. That's a love and hate relationship. Long time ago, I had a bunch, and then I sold them. Now I'm getting back into it. Bottleneck Gallery down there's posters. Again, Robert's a bad influence on that. He wants me to buy every print, and I'm trying to stay focused and staying on certain artists or certain.
They got a Goonies print coming out.
I know, but again, if I did a pan in my basement, guys, you'd laugh at me. It's a disaster. I can't buy everything that looks good. Usagi, for some weird reason, I'm collecting Usagi stuff now. Why, I don't know. Books, like I said, and then Sideshow. I just put Sideshow on there for statues. Statues are insane. I could tell you a story. I put in my library a statue, and I put something underneath it. And what you don't want to do is put something underneath it that could absorb moisture and connect to the bottom of the statue. So I got one of those. But like I told my son, I'm never going to sell it. So just remember that's but it's a custom statue too. So custom statues are pretty neat, but very costly. NYC was a line of statues I was collecting, and they are no longer allowed to do Star Wars statues. So those are probably worth a lot of money. But like I told my son, I'm not in it for the money. I don't flip things much. I mean, I might sell stuff that I need money for, but statues, shipping those are going to be insane. So next slide. I think I'm done though. That's just a little bit about me, and there's a lot more, but I can't be here for an hour talking about myself.
Okay. Al, you want to continue the journey?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if my slide showed up. I mean, it's nothing like.
I'm gonna set it up right now.
All right, it's nothing like Ryan's. It's just one slide, but.
Well, Ryan spends many hours. He's up all night, coffee and.
Yeah. I got the summer off, right?
Yeah, I got time off here.
Yeah, gotta step our game up.
All right.
Yeah.
But anyhow, just to piggyback on that, I'm sure a lot of us, that were, born in the 80s or so, similar paths. Just like Ryan, one of the biggest influences mainly was cartoons, mainly Saturday morning. Some of the biggest ones that I was really into, Master of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers, all the way down to even like the smaller, unknown, maybe forgotten cartoons. Mask, I would say, was one of them. Silverhawks, well, not forgotten, but Thundercats was another good one. I was just into anything that had action in it, cartoon action. That was my thing. I didn't have any older brothers, but I did have a lot of older cousins that were about my age or even older, and they were a big influence into getting me into not only figures and toys, but also into the cartoons. So I thank a lot of them for putting me down this never-ending, lifelong rabbit hole. Comics was another big thing. Read a lot of comics, thanks again to my older cousins as well. And then video games, we're into the NES. I wasn't really around too much for the Atari. I vaguely remember it, but growing up, it was mainly Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and then you get into the next era with PlayStation, Nintendo or Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and so forth. But I'd say my biggest lines as a child was Master of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. Now, Ryan talked about the Dark Ages. For me, it was, I would say, almost like a renaissance, because at that time, that's when I started getting more into, the comics, the 90s era with, the Jim Lee X-Men, Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. And that's when most of my focus went over to collecting, the Toy Biz stuff. That's what I was really into in the 90s. And they were coming out with all kinds of stuff. I'm sure you guys remember it was, I think, the Marvel superheroes line first, and then it came out with the X-Men, and then Marvel Legends started coming in, the earlier ones. Oh, and Power Rangers was another huge one in the 90s. If you grew up in the 90s, I'm sure most of you were also Power Rangers fans. Um, with seeing giant robots, I'm sure a lot of us were picking that up from Transformers and liking that, live action. Um, but yeah, that was kind of like, I'd say, my Renaissance period with figures. I was really heavy into comic stuff, even up until like the mid 2000s, and that's around the time when I'd say I stopped collecting figures in general. Once Hasbro picked up the license, I was kind of over. I didn't like the first couple waves of the Hasbro Marvel Legends. I felt like they were a huge downgrade from Toy Biz stuff, so I just kind of stopped collecting figures in general. And also growing up, I was also big into sneakers, so I put a lot more of my collection into sneakers during the mid 2000s to even up to now. My first job was actually at a sneaker store. So I was in high school. I felt like the coolest kid because I didn't have to line up for the Jordans. I got it was actually Foot Action at the time.
Foot Action.
Which ended up, yeah, they were like the big competitor to Foot Locker at the time, and eventually got bought out by Foot Locker. But yeah, so that was where all my paychecks went to, were the shoes. But I'd say getting back into the mid 2010s, late 2010s is when I kind of just got over sneakers. I'm still into sneakers now, but I just kind of got over how things were with online raffles or whatever, sneakers app. It's whatever. But anyways,
how many do you have now?
Oh geez, I don't even know, to be honest with you. So I'm somewhere in the hundreds, but a couple hundred maybe. I don't know.
Wait.
But I do.
Time out.
I'll be right back.
Wait. You have a couple hundred sneakers?
Wow.
Where do you keep
Yeah,
them?
I mean, mostly in the garage. I have like shoe racks over there.
Are these sneakers that you would occasionally wear, or are they all like mint?
Pretty much most of them are worn. There's very few sneakers that I just buy to keep mint. Now during my sabbatical from figures, that's when I was kind of like almost like a mini sneaker reseller, which to this now I'm all against it, whatever. But there's ways, that people get sneakers backdoored and whatnot. I was more of the guy that would line up to, pick them up at a shoe store. I would usually buy like maybe 2 or 3 pairs, keep one, sell one. So that's how it was for me. Now what I actually do is I actually donate a lot of the sneakers that I don't wear anymore. I send it back to my family in the Philippines, hook them up with some nice little Jordans. So, it's a little hard for them to get over there. And
what's your size?
Kind of follow the path. 10. Size 10. So let me know. I'll see what I got for you.
You're lying now.
Which is funny because a lot of my older figures, as I was growing up, see, I was the only child for about the first 8 years of my life. So my mom used to just buy me like pretty much anything. And funny thing is, as I was growing up, and she thought I was getting, I wasn't into figures anymore. all the good stuff got sent to the Philippines to all my younger cousins back there. So a lot of my old stuff I don't have, and that's because they're there. And I'm pretty sure, just like Robert G.I. Joe's, most of them are probably broken, but it is what it is. um, but anyhow, so when I started getting back into collecting, I'd say was late 2010s or so. That's when I first got into Hot Toys. I was always a big admirer of Hot Toys, seeing all the stuff that they'd release, when like the MCU was coming up and like the Dark Knight trilogy and Star Wars was making its return. But I never got into it. I just loved looking at the pictures online. And then one day I just decided, you know what? No, I got to start collecting this. Like, what am I doing? Window shopping is window shopping is not fun. So Hambalicious is actually one of my cousins, and he is also one of the guys that would get my old toys, and he got a lot of his toys sent back to our cousins as well. But yeah, so I got into the Hot Toys just because I felt like, these are crazy. Like, how do they look so like real compared to like 6-inch figures? So I just got into that, and I wasn't collecting any 1/12 until maybe the past last year actually. Reason I got back into it is because I started learning about like the import figures like Mafex and SHF, and I just thought, hey, that's cool. Like, and these are so posable. Most Hot Toys are not posable, and you leave them in museum poses or very basic poses, and I just wanted to start posing figures like they were in the comics or cartoons or movies. And so I picked up a couple of SHF and Mafex figures, and I just got myself in another hole. Thanks to Robert and Ryan inviting me to the group from 1/6 group that we were mutually in, and love the community. I tell Robert and Ryan all the time that this is a great thing that we're building here, and I really enjoy this group the most out of all the other collector groups I'm in, and we'll just continue down this path together and dig ourselves more rabbit holes and secrets from the wives.
Keep them secrets, boys. Cool, man. Thank you, Al. Awesome. Yeah,
no problem.
Cool. Jason, you want to go next?
I think I'm the only choice. Sure.
Well, I haven't spoken yet, Jason.
Oh, fair enough. We're saving the best for last, right? Sure. All right. I did not have a whole lot of time for slides, so I just threw together a bunch of pictures of the stuff I had. Yes, I'm the old man of the group. I grew up in the early 70s, so toys were a lot different back then. And my family, too, you got a toy for your birthday or you got a toy for the holidays, but there generally wasn't a whole ton in between. So, and I'd call it collecting, I'm the guy who collects everything. I've kept everything I've ever owned for as long as it's viable, which has left me with a lot of stuff. So I've just started actually cleaning house on some of that to maybe get it to people who would appreciate it more than just sitting in boxes. But always loved it. My influences were, the same. It was always cartoons, although for me it was like Super Friends and Scooby-Doo, and that was kind of the early 70s stuff. $6 Million Man, that was like the hot toy of the day. He had like the ratcheting arm, and you could look through his eye hole for
his eye
telescopic vision, which never worked really well. It was kind of cool, but creepy a little bit to be looking through his head to do that. And that was like the X-ray lab setup. So, but yeah, I was saying, so animated stuff too. Loved like Speed Racer. I'd find those on, this will date me good, but the UHF channels, 52 out our way. You could see Speed Racer and Kimba the White Lion and what was it, Johnny Sacco and Giant Robot were fun to watch. And then I'd get up at the crack of dawn to watch, Space Battleship Yamato. Not a fan?
Jam.
Oh, I love that. It was just a big battleship in space with a huge cannon on the front. So that's kind of how I
have any stuff.
What's up?
You don't have any Yamato stuff?
No,
Star Blazers? No?
I wouldn't have known where to get it back then. I would have been.
Well, I mean, now.
Yeah, I keep looking. I haven't gotten anything yet, but and I have limited shelf space. I've always had for whenever I've collected, and mine has varied a lot over the years with huge breaks. But my home office has the boring blank wall behind me, but all the good stuff's that way since I spend a ton of time in here. So at least I'm entertained with my stuff all day. And I don't have quite the collection Ryan does, but I've always loved Legos. That space set was like the big one back in the day, and opened up, and there was I think there was a vehicle inside you could roll around with, and the one on the right, if anyone remembers that at all, is Micronauts.
Yeah.
They were also made by Mego. They were held together with rubber bands. They were the weirdest little figures, but they were fun to play with. So yeah, I got that space set, and then I remember having a bunch of the Mego stuff. That was sort of the last of the soft goods figures I messed around with because they fell apart so easy. Batman's boots literally just split in half the more you put them on and off. So. But I loved all that stuff. It was all TV and sci-fi and horror movies and all that kind of stuff that I grew up with that really kind of influenced my taste. Mostly for me too, as a kid, I started collecting comic books, and those I could get more of. I am a sucker for anything that says Batman on it. And can I see the next slide?
Yep.
Before I ramble on too much. That was my childhood. Those are actually what figures I found that I have left. They are not in good shape. And I know
Fortuna looks pretty good.
Actually, surprisingly so. I cannot remember where I got that one from, but I know there's a Luke and a Leia and a Han missing that used to be in there, and all the weapons and stuff are gone. But oh man, I that was the best part of growing up in the 70s was I got the first round on Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's my Father's Day tie-in is my dad and I have seen, with the exception of the first one, every movie opening day. So every last Star Wars opening day we spent together for it. Not the first one because nobody knew, but we saw that opening week, and that was back before you could watch them anytime you wanted. So I think we went. Geez, Star Wars: A New Hope. I think we saw like 7 times in the theater. Same for Empire.
Back in the day, you could do double features.
Yeah. Okay. What's on the next one?
The next slide. Got the Fonz.
The Fonz. I had to throw them in there. It was another Mego one. It was a huge deal back then because I think he had a lever on his back that to just move it up and down. There was no real good play value at it. I think he had I think there was a motorcycle I had with him too. And then I should have put up here. I also had a bunch of Evel Knievel toys where it had the ripcord and you could wind him up and send him off. Then a bunch of Hot Wheels and Matchbox. I've always been a car guy, so those are mine too. They are beat to hell. Because back then there was no value to stuff. It was just stuff you played with. And that is my land speeder. Barely holding on, and my X-Wing had nothing left to it, so I had to go stock footage on that. I left the shark car on there because I recently sold that and was shocked at how much that thing was worth.
How much is that?
Someone paid just under $100 for that thing.
No way.
That's what I
said.
That would have gone right in the garbage.
It's about that big. It's tiny. So, but okay.
Wow.
Next slide, please.
Sure.
Thank you. All right. So when I finally got into collecting, 80s for me was all cars and movies and comic books. Those were my teen years. So I still loved the media and all that, but I wasn't really collecting much for toys. I had maybe a few corgi, like a James Bond corgi or some of those kind of stuff. But what really got me was through my girlfriend at the time, met a friend. and we talked sci-fi and all that kind of stuff. And he went, "Hey, you have to check out my toy collection." And I thought, okay, probably a cool little toy collection. And this guy I walked in, it's a good friend, had wall-to-wall department store size cabinets, full lighting and everything for just an entire room. And he lived on a second story apartment, so I had no idea how he managed to get all that in there. But he had everything, and that's where I really first got hooked. Mostly with the Spawn stuff. McFarlane really got my attention because it was just so different. That Bad Rock, which one of the few I've kept from that era, is I think the first one I ever got. So I had to keep him. He was just cool and different, and of course not Spawn at all. I think he was Image Comics character. And so anyway, he had all this amazing stuff, and he got me into it. And like others were saying, back then you couldn't just look it up and go buy it online and make it easy. So you had to run from toy store to toy store to toy store if you really wanted to get your stuff. And there were a lot more on the pegs back then than there are now. I've been shocked at how little you can find of even the basic stuff. But I was lucky, I suppose, because I worked field support in Los Angeles, the entirety of Los Angeles, which meant I got to make my schedule for where I went and what time I went. So I could be at Toys R Us opening every day of the week, and I knew where to hit all the stores in between. So as back then it was Toys R Us and KB Toys. I don't know if that's totally local. FAO Schwartz was a good place to hit because nobody really ever went there. So they had
because they were too expensive.
They were more expensive, but if nobody went, especially for this stuff, they would discount it all, and it had the hard to find stuff. But yeah, I spent all day going around fixing computers and hitting toy stores, and I went a little on the nut side.
we all do, right?
Oh yeah, I did it well. Next slide, please. Yeah. Toy Biz.
There we go.
Those were the couple of X-Men box sets that were a bit hard to find, and I always loved that Beta Ray Bill. But so I collected every last thing I could find. I'd collect so I'd collect all that stuff. I'd collect the box, keep them in the box if I thought they were valuable or special or unique, like Hamburger Head Spawn and Meloboja back in the day and all that kind of stuff. And all the variants, everything. I'd get I had just about every last Power of the Force. Because I didn't get as much as a kid, I had to have it. So every last bit of Star Wars, got that Millennium Falcon that I always wanted. DC Direct I had a ton of. Dragon Ball. What's on the next slide? I'm asking you what's on the next slide. Like you know, and I had to keep my Resource. My Resource Mach 5. I love that thing. When I was a kid, I thought, that was where I started my love of cars, and that was the car I was going to get when I grew up. I had no idea that they would sell kids.
You saw the Solar Chikokin one?
What's that?
Did you see the Solar Chikokin one? The Tamashii Nations one?
That's the one you posted up a while back.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is it out yet?
No.
Oh, I don't know what it's going for, but I'm probably going to have to get that.
Yeah, it looks good.
So let's see. I had a bunch of the Tick. I worked for Disney, so I had a bunch of Disney stuff. And then I finally got to a point, and this is where I stopped collecting right about 2008. I just had too much stuff. It got to be more about the collecting than it was about enjoying it all. So I think just loose figures. And my wife was actually super cool about the toys. She doesn't get it at all, but she's cool about it. Helped me pack them all up, but I must have had well north of right between 800 and 1,000, I think, just loose figures, not including any of the variants or the boxes or any of that. So, and then 2008 hit, so that wasn't real good either. Bad year for finances.
Yeah.
So I ended up packing that up. I sold a lot of that off. One of the coolest things I did there, and I encourage anybody to do this if you can, is for the stuff that really wasn't valuable or the stuff that I wasn't really excited about, we worked with the Children's Hospital, and packed up a big box and worked with a coordinator and a few other places as well. And it was hard times in 2008. So we got to bring a bunch of kids toys that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten. And it was just one of those moments. The coordinator there, we brought it in, and she didn't realize quite what we were bringing, and she just burst into tears. So I would encourage anyone, if you got extra stuff for stuff you don't care that much, and obviously not like your Mafex stuff or the valuable things or the hot toys, but it's a pretty rewarding thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my Treehouse of Horror. That was a Toys R Us exclusive. That was hard.
Yeah, I got a few of those.
I had all of that Simpsons stuff, and that didn't hold its value at all. None of that stuff did.
When they came out, they were really sought after, especially Treehouse 1. And then it hit a cliff and it fell.
Well, it helped that it was funny back then. It's gone on a little too long now, but it was a better show. That Malabosia, I had one in hand and one in the box, and it used to be, if you could find it, they were worth $100. And I think last time I looked, $10, maybe $20 tops if you found someone who was really itching for one. So I have made it a point now to collect just what I love, just what means a lot to me, and it's made me happier for doing it. Is that the last one for?
No, you got a few more.
For that era.
Hey.
Right, so, as it turns out, yeah, round 3, fight. So round about 2020, again, had a bunch of free time for some reason, COVID. And I started going through my old stuff to see what I had left, because I knew I had a box or so. And it turned out I had a lot left. So I figured, all right, what could it hurt? I'll bring out a couple of figures and put them back on the shelf and start looking again. And then I kind of wondered what McFarlane was up to. And boy, McFarlane was up to all Batman, which is my trigger, if you will. So I had to start collecting those again. And it was better times, and I kept it to a reasonable minimum. So started collecting there, and they got some pretty good runs. Some of it better than others. But then I said, started to wonder kind of what else was happening in the collector world. And so I saw the Mafex and the SV Action and stuff. Realistically, I really only started collecting the import stuff over since last July. So I've been on a ramped up schedule. But I got a couple knockoffs on AliExpress, and I thought that'd be a fun way to check it out. And they were decent and all. But I still was trying to justify why the figures would cost so much and what they were really.
Why did you make the jump?
What's that?
Why did you make that initial jump?
Oh, realistically, the McFarlane stuff are pretty to look at, but they're statues. There's not a whole lot you can do with them. So I got shelves of just rows of figures, which is cool and all. But I started to hear more about these, and then I saw Cyborg Superman, and that was about it. Once I realized they had interchangeable heads and hands and that they look like that, look at the face on that guy. He's beautiful. I mean, just the one eye on the side. And so I got it. Then I really got it. And then I saw Batman Hush. And again, way
Game
better
over.
than any other Batman they've got going. So I started off strong, and I came at the right time because all the reissues started coming back out. So
yeah, to be a collector today, man,
it's a rare bout of good timing. Next slide, please.
Yep.
Oh, and I had to have that Hulk.
Is that the one you just got?
No, that was one of the earlier ones I got.
Okay.
I forget which one. It's SHF. I forget which one it is. It's not the
Figma Hulk is surprisingly really nice.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't end up picking it up, but it's a cool figure. And then the one on the right, which I got to give credit for, my wife bought that for me. That's
the 3-0?
Comic Cave Hulkbuster.
Oh, the Comic Cave one, yeah.
It's the Comic Cave Hulkbuster. It's from AliExpress, and the story I always heard was that it was from an original factory that they made them had the license for them, and then Comic Cave switched and didn't exactly pay them, but they sold them anyway. And it's actually great. Everything works perfectly. A little less of the paint detail than they're supposed to have for the scuff marks and stuff, but man, that thing is awesome.
Looks great in the photo.
And it's heavy. It's almost all metal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, super heavy. And the lights work great. There's lights on the feet for the thrusters. Not that you ever see them standing up, but I got to give my wife credit. She pulled me that one.
We don't do that in this group.
That's why I'm allowed in my one room. None of this is allowed past the doorway, but we're cool as long as none of that changes. I think I got one or two left. What's next?
Next slide,
please. All right, because I collected so much Star Wars, I said no more Star Wars. I've got other movie stuff and helmets and things like that, but I said no more Star Wars. And then I saw the SHF one for this with his head poking through the helmet from Obi-Wan, and here we are back to collecting Star Wars. So but I love that one. And then you guys got me back into Mezco. Again, I wasn't a big fan of the soft goods, but that one's stellar. Next slide, please. And then Derek got me into Yamaguchi. I was passing on him because Wolverine I wasn't a huge fan of, and the joints kind of bugged me, but I can't put that thing down. And of course, Symbiote Spider-Man.
It's great figure.
I think there's one more.
You got maybe two more.
Two more? I'm sorry. I love them. I get carried away. But I'm trying to branch out a bit. And what's that? Furay. It's a tiger with swords. I had to have that. Waiting on my veteran William, and it's a great line. It's a little hard to pose and move around and get the hands off, but if you heat them right. And then Headless Horseman. It's just a cool piece.
That's a great piece. I still haven't picked it up.
It's great. I was deciding between the original one and that, and I thought the green flames were pretty cool. Just got to be careful with them. But the horse, you can if you balance him on his tail, you can actually put him in the upright position. But I live in earthquake country, so I'm not doing that.
Tell me about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you too.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where everything is falling over. Everything. So
yeah, we've had a few. Yeah, you guys had a few too.
Mm-hmm.
We get one every day.
Is it every day?
Yeah, you get one every day. It's just the magnitude, like.
Yeah. It's funny.
Every day you feel one.
I work with people around the country, and they're like, "Oh my God, we heard you had an earthquake." I'm like, "It's a 4. We don't get out of bed for less than like a 6."
Well, it depends on how deep is the 4, right? If it's more surface level, that's a lot different, right?
Yeah, well, it's either that wave or it's that hard jolt.
Yes.
I'm sure Al remembers 94.
Oh yeah, man. I remember being like scared for my life, basically.
Oh, I lived in a crappy apartment.
Running
I was
outside.
sure that thing was coming down.
Yeah.
And I had a 60-gallon saltwater aquarium that exploded, so that was fun.
Oh man, there was actually one I want to say about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, where the epicenter was like 5 miles away from me. So it was a quick one, but it was strong enough to give me a casualty with a figure.
Oh no!
My Mondo, my Mondo Keldor fell over and leg snapped right off.
I've been lucky so far. I've had a few fall over, but I haven't had anything break yet. So
yeah,
I had my RoboCop, my Hot Toys RoboCop.
Oh no!
Yeah, so on the knees, he's got a couple pieces that kind of stick up.
Yeah.
The pieces that were at the knees broke off.
Oh
I
man.
mean, it's
Oh
okay.
wow.
It's not a big deal. You only notice if if you know about it. But yeah, he's a
Yeah,
catch and
but we're the kind of guys that know about it. That's got to bug you.
Oh yeah. Even though
All right,
you
I think
can't
I
see
got
it,
one
you
last
know
one
it's
to
there.
knock out. I love Legos, but I love this one. This is my favorite. It's a Lego UCS Millennium Falcon that I wired for light and sound. So
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
it's fun to do. I got big meat hook hands, so it's hard to get in there and do it, but it's fun to do. It has a with the sound. It has it wherever you can turn it on, and the engines fire up, and the lights come on in the back. And every fifth or sixth time, it does the typical Millennium Falcon engine failure. So it's fun. The cannons fire and all that kind of stuff. There's a much newer kit that adds a lot more to it, but I just can't bear the thought of taking that apart to put it all in. So anyway, that's all I got. I think I took
cool.
a
Awesome.
whole bunch of
Thank you for
time.
sharing. Great. All right, now it's my turn. So let's get into mine. I'm gonna go a little bit down memory lane with some Sears Wish Book pictures. So the journey that I'm gonna start with today, basically we're gonna start with 1983. 1983, I think, to 1986 were the best times to be a collector. The amount of stuff that was coming out, the variety of stuff that was coming out, everything was available. There was no, where's this figure? Because they used to ship boxes of one figure. So you'd go to the store and they would just be, shelf upon shelf, peg upon peg of just everything that you were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, like I said, this is from the Sears Wish Book. You have the G.I. Joe. And I mean, this line just started back in, 80, 82, 83. And look at the volume of stuff that they had available for everybody. Just incredible. And I used to have that train set down at the bottom as well. It was a pretty cool train set. I don't know if anybody else had that. But everything in that picture, with the exception of the bottom left, those aren't GI Joe. Those are just remote controlled, Army vehicles. I had everything in that picture, including that mail away Sears 3-pack Cobra Island missile thing. I was a lucky kid. I had a mother who used to go out of her way to get me what I wanted. She would call New Hampshire. She would call New York State, looking for stuff that you couldn't find in the Boston area or eastern Massachusetts. So I remember it was like Christmas, and I got my first Joe when they were the straight arm. They didn't have that swivel bicep yet, and up until that point, I was all Star Wars. So Jason, you were talking about seeing the movies with your father.
Yeah.
First movie I ever saw in the theater was Star Wars. It wasn't 77 because I was born in 75. So it was probably 78, maybe 79, but I think it was 78 during one of the re-releases.
Yeah.
And I promptly fell asleep. I remember wanting to see the movie so much. And my godmother took me. And the movie started, and we're on Tatooine, and R2-D2 is hiding from the Jawas. Next thing I know, I'm waking up to the ceremony at the end of the movie. I've been waiting for this. What happened? But like Jason, every other movie I saw opening day, and I actually saw The Empire Strikes Back opening day in Boston. And I saw it opening day in Ireland the following August, because I was in Ireland for the summer with my family, visiting family.
That's cool.
So that was kind of cool. So we also see over there, we see Masters of the Universe. You can see, if you look there, they hadn't quite figured out the logo at that point. So they had a kind of a weird logo that they were using, but all of those He-Man things at the beginning, I was really into He-Man at the beginning. And, I mean, like the opening of my videos, that Filmation opening jingle. Nothing got you more excited after school in the afternoon than that. So I really liked He-Man as a kid. It was great. But I went from Star Wars as my main thing to G.I. Joe as my main thing. And everything else was, I was into it, but it was all kind of on the periphery. Now, we have over here, we have GoBots and Transformers. GoBots came out first, followed by Transformers. And you can see that obviously GoBots had a bigger push at Christmas in 1984. GoBots, I used to be able to walk up the street to my local convenience store when my mother sent me up to get her cigarettes. Just go up, I'm like 8 or 9 years old, and I'm going up and buying cigarettes. Tell a kid that today. Getting cigarettes for my mother, and it's a totally different time, right? Yeah. And if I had a little money, if she gave me money, or if I could save money, I would get a GoBot because they were small and they were cheap. So I used to have a lot of GoBots. They were pretty cool. I never had like the big sets or the big robot or anything like that. I just had a lot of the smaller ones. But Transformers, I remember finding my mother had hidden Optimus Prime for my birthday, and I found it, and I opened the box ever so carefully, and I took it out and I played with it, and then I had to put it back in and put it back to where she hid it, so that I didn't let on. But yeah, I really loved the Transformers. I started kind of drifting out of the Transformers back in like 85 season 2. And then my cousin, who stayed with us for the summer, he was really into Transformers, and we went to go see Transformers the movie. And like that movie, boom, that movie hit me. Like I was, whoa, I love Transformers again. So I started getting back into Transformers after the movie. I had the whale, like Ryan. I had the flag. I bought the flag with birthday money that I had saved up. And it sat in the middle of my bedroom for years. You couldn't do anything because it's in the middle of the bedroom. But the flag was amazing. And I had read somewhere that Hasbro made no money on their G.I. Joe figures. They made their money on the vehicles. And so they pushed those. And that's why they were always available. You could get the whale. The whale came out in 83. You could get the whale in 87. Like it was still available if you wanted it. And, it was just a different world back in the day, and they approached everything differently. None of this, you got 6 months or you got 3 months and then it's gone. They really made everything available so people could come into the line and not miss anything. Star Wars was great with that. You could get every figure from every movie, even during Jedi. Mm-hmm. They put everything on the Jedi cards. It was awesome. It was a great time to be a collector. You'd walk into a toy store. For us, I think I mentioned in the page, the Facebook page, I'd walk into Child World, which was also known as Children's Palace, and it was just amazing. It was incredible. It was incredible. So I miss those days. So here's some of the Star Wars stuff. This is 84, so Star Wars is starting to transition out of favor, and we're getting replaced with Voltron, Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Mask, Transformers, and things like that over the next couple of years. So 85, again, here's some Mask stuff. Then we had not only Castle Grayskull, but we had Snake Mountain, which was great. Mattel, Hasbro, Kenner, just going at each other. And that competition was great for everybody, because they were always trying to one-up each other, and they kept prices low. Transformers, Omega Supreme. Do you remember the watches? Do you remember the watches they used to have, the Transformers? You could take it off and transform. Those are awesome. some of the Dinobots, some of the Seekers. GoBots was still kind of popular. Then we had some of the superpower stuff. I didn't have that. That's when my younger brother, he had like some of his first toys were like those DC superpowers figures, which are pretty cool. He had a lot of great stuff. There's the flag. Amazing. I would love for them to reissue the flag. I would love it. So then we have Voltron. I had all the Voltron stuff. And the great thing about Voltron is that a couple different companies were doing Voltron. It wasn't just one company had the license. It was a bunch of different companies. And they made different things. So you see like Matchbox. Matchbox had the vehicle Voltron, and they had the Lion Voltron. And then there was another Voltron here. I forget the name of the company, but you could put the figures inside the lions.
Yeah.
And find them. That was awesome. That was so good.
I remember that.
Really good. Did you have that?
I remember that now. You're bringing back memories.
Yeah. And like,
I think that one was plastic though, right?
Yeah, it was all plastic. Yeah, that one was all plastic. And then you had like their base, and it had like a key to open it. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So, all of this stuff, everything. I mean, what a time to be a kid. What a time to be into all this stuff. So 86 for me, I consider 86 the last great year, because there was so much stuff available. G.I. Joe hadn't descended into madness with some of their stupid figure gimmicks and everything. They were still sort of military focused, military based. 86, you had the wrestling superstars. I never had those. My cousin did, so we used to wrestle with those. It was awesome. But I did have muscles. I did have those. Those are great. You used to get like packs of them. You can get like packs of 10, packs of 50. It was great. More Masters of the Universe. The Eternia playset made its first appearance in 86, which is awesome. I never got it, but it was pretty cool. And the Terradrome, the Cobra Terradrome. The what's the name of this helicopter? What was it called?
Is it the Tomahawk?
The Tomahawk. The Tomahawk. Yeah. Tomahawk was one of my all-time favorite Joe vehicles. It was a really well put together, really great piece that you could incorporate so many figures into. The one drawback is that if you ever had one, very soon those blades started to fall due to gravity. But I loved the Terradrome, the Thunder. What is it? The Thunder Machine, the Dreadnought Thunder Machine. All of that stuff was awesome. Had the Thundercats. A few of the Thundercats things. My brother had the Dragon's Lair. I never had that. I put the Rambo stuff in there for Ryan because I'm a good guy, but I never had Rambo. Now, I had ColecoVision. You had Intellivision. I had ColecoVision. Did anybody have ColecoVision?
No.
No, I had friends who had ColecoVision and Intellivision.
Okay, so ColecoVision was the clear winner.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the store again after a birthday. I have a big family. I'm Irish Catholic. I have a big family. So after a birthday, with my birthday money, I went to Child World to get an Atari 2600. They didn't have any, but they had Coleco. And the staff was like, Coleco's better. You should get it. Now, I'm like 8 years old or something. I'm like, no, I want Atari. Like, no, you should get Coleco. We think Coleco's better. So, pressure from, I don't know if it was my mother or my uncle who took me. I ended up getting the ColecoVision. And the Coleco controllers, it was like that knob, and then there were these two buttons, and then there were all these number keypads. It looked like a phone. But you could get an adapter, and plug it in, and you could play Atari games on a Coleco. Imagine being able to have an adapter to your PlayStation where you can play Xbox games. I mean, incredible, incredible. So I ended up getting Nintendo back in, I'm going to say 86, I think is when I got Nintendo. I don't know if you guys remember Photon.
Oh yeah,
And then laser tag.
Yes.
I had laser tag.
I had laser tag. Laser tag was pimp.
Yeah.
Photon was not my thing, but they used to have like shows, right? They used to have shows on Saturday morning,
Yeah.
like laser tag and Photon and stuff. Those were awesome. And they had like, so you see the little gun. I was into V. Do you guys remember V?
Oh yeah, it scared the heck out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a V 12-inch figure back in the day. And the gun from this always reminded me of the Visitors' guns. So I used to be a kid, and I used to play V, and I used to have that gun and pretend that I was one of the aliens. But they came out with like a long rifle blaster as well, which is pretty insane. But laser tag was awesome. So over here you see this rather handsome fella. This is May 3rd, 1999. This is the midnight episode 1 Midnight Madness at Toys R Us. For some reason, my picture went national, and you can still find the photo on a lot of Toys R Us.
And that's your shopping cart?
Those are my shopping carts.
Yeah.
I think I spent $1,000 that night on stuff. Now, as I say in the thing, someone go back in time and tell me to save my money. But I mean, like, I'm looking at stuff in that package in the boxes inside those carriages, and I'm like, did I buy that? Do I have that? I don't know. Like the Micro Machine ones, did I actually buy those? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
but yeah, I filled up 2 or 3 carriages with stuff. It was madness. It was crazy. Who went to that? Who went to the midnight thing?
Not me.
I did not.
No.
Losers, huh?
You know what? That's funny. I actually just found my Micro Machine Ender playset with nothing else though. Just the actual base. Those things were awesome back in the day.
I was in, I think, New York City, so I don't think I even knew where to go back then.
Did they have the Times Square Toys R Us then?
I don't remember. I was working my butt off back then in TV, so I don't remember.
Okay. So yeah, I found this picture. I was like, yeah, I got to include it. You know, back I had a little bit of hair then. My hair was starting to go, as you can see. It was starting to go, but it was still there. So I think that might be it. So my next thing, which you guys all kind of talked about in your thing, is what lines are you most excited about as collectors these days? And I think we all, when we were talking about what we liked as kids, it was always the IP. It was always the line of the toy. But these days, I think we're more attached to the manufacturer, like Hot Toys, right? Like Medicom, like Tamashii Nations, like McFarlane, like, you know, I mean, things like that. Mondo. It's weird how these things kind of change, right? As collectors and as we progress and stuff. Now, my journey as a collector, I started off collecting baseball cards back in probably the mid 80s, 85, 86. And the Red Sox being in the World Series in 86 kind of pushed me to get into that more. But I quickly got out of favor with that. And I started collecting comic books. My first ever comic book was G.I. Joe A Real American Hero #2. I was sick in bed, home from school. My mother came home and she kind of tossed this thing at me in bed. And it was G.I. Joe. And it was like the cover, they were doing like an Arctic mission. And I read that and I was hooked. It was awesome. So I started collecting comics, and I collected comics right up until like Image started, Spawn and all that stuff. And then I transitioned out of that. I used to buy Wizard. You guys remember Wizard magazine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I used to buy Wizard, and Wizard was great. It was such a great magazine, really, really well put together. And they started showing the value of toys, figures. And I'm like, people collect toys? I had no idea. I was like, I would much rather collect toys than comic books at this point. So this is probably back in 1990. And I transitioned, I shifted. Now at this point, all of my childhood stuff had been thrown away. Everything is gone. And I kind of started anew. I went around the neighborhood swindling little kids of their old figures or their bigger brothers' older figures, getting them. I ended up getting like maybe 8 carded, like on the card Star Wars figures from people in the neighborhood who just happened to have them. No idea how. So I started off with Star Wars, and it was, the 3 3/4 inch stuff. And, I'd get a couple other things on the side, like G.I. Joe. They had like a Space Brigade or something. Does anyone know? Ryan?
Space. I don't remember Space Brigade. I don't know.
They had like some Space Force anyway, back in the early 90s. I got a bunch of that stuff, but I collected stuff, and I collected way too much, and I collected more than I should have. Spent way more money than I should have.
Yeah.
And just before coming to Japan, so at this point, 1990 to like 2007, just before I came to Japan, I said, well, I can't keep doing this because I'm going to Japan. And so I stopped. And then, as I've said, a buddy was collecting, or had just started collecting, the Transformers Masterpiece series. And we went into a shop here called Kittyland. And I went in, and they had it there on the shelf. And I was just blown away. It's like, wow, this is incredible. So I got Soundwave. Soundwave was the first thing. And I started getting other things like some of the Figma stuff, like Attack on Titan, a lot of those figures. And then Black Series. And then eventually I moved on to like Hot Toys and stuff. And then I was always getting Figuarts because of the Star Wars. And I didn't get Mafex because Mafex sucked. I mean, let's be honest. They sucked. Their quality was awful. If you ever have the option to buy that R2-D2 C-3PO 2-pack, don't buy it. It's garbage. Like it breaks. It just falls apart. And it wasn't until they released the Boba Fett's that I think most people started taking them really seriously. I think they upped their game considerably then. And so then I kind of got stuck on Mafex. So my wife isn't happy. I have to come home very quietly with bags.
Huh.
I got a couple of these yesterday.
Nice.
This will probably be the next waffle. I know a lot of people said that they wanted this and they didn't have it. I bought the last ones in the store. I bought the Cyborg Superman and the excuse me, the Nightwing for a guy, and then I got one other Nightwing. So I'll make that one other Nightwing available to people if people want. But it's a great time to be collecting Mafex, the stuff that they get. Although we have discussed it, their quality seems to be dropping. And that John Wick is no exception. So we'll see. But that's it for me. So I apologize. I haven't been keeping up with the chat. Let's go back and see what people were getting and into. see if I can go through. I can only go back, I think, a certain. Here we go. So you have a comment from Philippe. That Falcon that you had, Jason's sick.
Thank you.
The school's canceled or work is closed for the blizzards. We were talking about blizzards. Jason, you're older. Did you watch like the Shogun Warriors and stuff like that as well?
You talking like Mazinger and
yeah, like Guy King and
I didn't see the shows, but I had from friends who had traveled. Yeah, I had only a couple. I had it was, I'm not even sure how big it was, but it was had to be like a couple feet tall Mazinger where he had
the jumbo ones.
Yeah, where he had the hand that fired missiles and the ship that came out of his head.
Yeah.
Recently, I found the hand. That's all that's left. I have
That's
no
all that's
idea
left?
what happened to the rest of it. But I had some of that. We didn't get to see a whole lot of that here. Just
yeah. So Greg is from Boston area. Greg is, Caldor used to be a store that we could go to, and Leechmere you could buy some stuff. But there used to be this. Oh, look at this starting lineup, huh? There used to be
you were talking about baseball cards, and
yes,
I was a big time. I'm still am a big time collector, but I have a tub right over here with unopened starting lineups. I had a cousin.
You got Larry Bird?
No, I don't, because where I lived, it was always like Minnesota, the Cubs, the Tigers. It was always the local teams, Houston Astros too. But I had a cousin whose husband was a baseball card dealer, and he would get me like used NHL sticks out of the trash cans after the game. But he always told me, he goes, "Get these, never open them." So I have tons that aren't open, but this is Jordan's. But I mean, it's so funny though. That's the collecting, was baseball cards. And I remember going to the comic book store and just not even looking at the comic books, looking at those baseball cards. And I told my wife, I said, I wish I would have bought those comics back then and just kept them in perfect shape, because those are worth a lot. In the 80s, those baseball cards are not worth much at all. They
Well, it depends on what you got, right? Like a lot of the Flair ones are worth some money, I think, but the Topps ones are worth nothing.
Oh yeah,
they just overproduce them.
Yeah.
But in Boston, there was a store. You can go on YouTube. It's called Mr. Big's Toyland, and you can still see the commercial that they used to show on TV during these shows, like Style Blazers, Battle of the Planets, Shogun Warriors, and stuff. The couple who owned this store, used to go to Japan, and they used to buy a bunch of the figures and bring them back and sell them. And they were the only place anywhere that had any of those figures. And of course, like I wanted to go. I never got to go. Very disappointing. But now I got a ton of that stuff now. I make up for it. I overcompensated.
You reminded me of Gatchaman, the G-Force stuff.
Well, that's the Battle of the Planets.
Yeah, Battle of the Planets.
That's what they call it. Yeah. So the Gatchaman stuff is great. Yeah. Do you have
I remember
Bumble Jumper? I did. Yeah.
I remember going to baseball card shows, and guys would be signing autographs for $5-10, and I remember Marshall Falk was like $15, and who else? Jerome Bettis, all those guys. Now I don't think you can get an autograph for what, 50 or to 100, maybe the cheapest.
Yeah, I mean everything has changed in the last 20-30 years. You used to be able to go to these shows. Like I got David Prowse autograph and Jeremy Bulloch, Vader and Boba Fett at a show. I'm gonna say like the late 90s or early aughts, but I think it was like the late 90s. I think I paid $5 for each one's autograph. And $5.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, you got those autographs, and they didn't give you a letter of authenticity or anything. You just maybe got a picture
You had to take a
Mhm.
I had
picture. Yeah.
Mickey Mantle's autograph. Nobody would believe that, that's his, nowadays.
Yeah.
I had Charleston Heston's autograph on a baseball. Why, I don't know, but I got it.
Charlton Heston on a baseball.
Yeah. You can barely see it now, but I think that's pretty cool. I would always think presidents on a baseball would be really cool if you could get those. But...
get all the presidents on one baseball.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
Or a football.
Yeah.
I have a good bunch of football signatures. I got from an ex-girlfriend what is rumored to be Marcus Allen's I think it's 84 Super Bowl helmet, and it is signed by everybody. Yeah. It's a cool piece. Plunkett and Marcus and Lester and everybody. And then signatures have faded because at one point housekeepers came through and dusted it for me.
Yes, I am going to back that. Ryan has already backed it. I have to back it. I haven't backed it yet. Ryan, how many more days are left for that?
Last time I looked was 14. That might have been 2 days ago, so maybe 12. Okay. They're at $2,158,000 right now, or something crazy.
Toy Fair magazine, but Wizard was the best. Wizard was great.
That was the only way you could find out about anything back then.
Yeah.
Toy Fair.
There was no internet.
Too, and Wizard, and there were a couple other ones.
Yeah. Well, you'd go to a toy show.
I love the.
What?
Yeah.
I used to love Wizard with their fan casting for movies.
What did they do?
What?
The fan casting.
Fan casting. Yes. Yeah. I remember they did James Cameron's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They had Leonardo DiCaprio
is the one that people.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. That was cool. I mean, X-Men is the one that most people remember, and how we willed Patrick Stewart into existence as Xavier because of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah,
he was born to play that role.
There was no one else. Yeah.
All right. So, let's go to our last main topic for the day. This is the Star Wars Haslab. Are you getting it? So this is another thing that Ryan was hard at work at. So we will allow him to take control. Let me just get this thing all set up for you. Again, my computer is kind of finicky. All right. Give me a second.
Okay, so what was it last week? Vintage, the Haslab was announced, right? So next slide. And we're gonna get the Cantina. So the Cantina, I believe, is I don't know, when was the last time they did this? In the 80s. So it's been a long time since they did the Cantina.
80s.
Well, in the 90s they did like the cardboard one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those cardboard sets they made. Those were terrible.
This was, and they had leaked this out, 2-3 months ago, too? So
I
think everybody saw it coming.
Yeah.
Next slide. And I think the big question is is it worth the price? So in that middle picture is just the base offering or the regular edition. And that's $399. The biggest
plus tax, plus shipping.
Plus tax, plus shipping. And the biggest thing is where's the floor? A lot of people are saying, where's the floor? That's what, and I don't collect the vintage card back. So my biggest thing is, if you do, this is a must. Now the regular though, I wouldn't get the regular. I would go with the deluxe. So on the next slide there.
Yeah.
I think the next slide is so this is what the prices are on the right side. So $399 for the Cantina base, and then the deluxe is $100 more. And right below that is all what you get into the base offering. So you get three. You get three smaller size figures though. So my biggest thing is those sell what $25 or less now at like a Walmart or at a store. So that's
For
like
the mass-produced ones.
Yeah, for the mass-produced ones. So these are collectible. My biggest thing, if I was buying it, I would have to buy two because I would have to at least open. You know, I mean, it's a costly thing to back. I mean, I cannot see you just buying one.
Well, I think you could buy one deluxe and then one of the base.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you save yourself $100, but yeah, I don't know why anybody would get the regular $3.99 one when you can just for $100 more almost double your investment aside from the figures.
Yeah, and you definitely have to. I wish they would let you buy extra figures, maybe, you know, limit to one. That'd be awesome. But I know why they don't do that, because they want you to buy another one. So, and I don't know what these are going for on eBay, the Haslabs anymore. I know the first couple were selling pretty well, but I think like the His Tank, has it been sold much higher? I mean, is it worth it? So I don't know what the market is on the vintage collection, Star Wars right now. What do you think on the pricing though? Anyone have thoughts about that?
I think each one is $100 overpriced.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I think with Star Wars too, you're paying for the license. You're paying Star Wars. You're also paying for Lucasfilm too. And that's my biggest complaint with Star Wars is you're paying so much extra just because of the licensing.
Star Wars tax.
My thing is right here where I'm circling. Did we really need all of that?
Yeah.
You know, like what?
All these little cups you're going to lose, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're circling? Yeah.
Yeah. The cups and all those small little, like, what do they have? Coasters for the cups too?
Yeah.
I think they're banking a lot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then they had a stream today or a video today showing how you can display it. I think if you get this, you got to display it together. I mean, I don't want to break it apart and have little sections, you know.
Yeah.
To me, and like
have to get
it's overpriced.
What are they called? Those like coffee tables that are converted into like a display thing.
Oh, you're talking about the tabletop displays where it's acrylic on top?
Well, it has like a specific name, like something terrarium, or something. Anyway, but yeah, exactly that. Like, if you got this, you would have to display it like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you put it on a shelf, it's not going to work. You'd have to have it encased in glass that you can actually walk around it.
Oh yeah,
and see. You know. It looks great.
I would almost like to have it at an angle, you know, angled up. I don't know if you want super glue, but you know, somehow get it today. But you would have to put like sand around it or something. You got to make it a little nicer than just put it on a
couple
shelf.
of dewbacks outside.
Yeah. And that's what I think. They should have added a little bit of that instead of all these cups and Starbucks cups and Stanleys or whatever they are, you know?
Yeah.
But the biggest complaint is, you know, they're forcing you to get the deluxe no matter what, the floor. And then people have talked about dioramas, but, you know, to build one and pay somebody to do this, it's going to cost tons of money. Next slide.
They're banking a lot, too, on the Tonica sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Never been able to make them before.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying, hey, you know, I'd buy this if it was, you know, Black Series or 6-inch, you know.
Oh, they're coming.
Yeah, they say they're not, but you know, yeah.
It is funny to hear people complain and say that it's too big, but if it were 6-inch, I'd buy it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the biggest thing, too, is the more people collect the 6-inch, but I feel like the people with the money collect the smaller stuff, I feel. But
that might be true.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm just throwing that out there. But, you know, only getting 3 card backs, I don't know, man. I would have loved it if they would have gave an option to maybe get also extra something extra in the base, I think would have made it worthwhile. But like I said, I'm not going to purchase this, but if I was into this, I'd definitely be buying it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had said from the beginning, they have a tendency not to reveal the tiers until you unlock the previous tier.
Yeah.
And, that what just wasn't going to work for this one.
No.
They had to announce everything from the
Yeah.
get-go. And I said the Tonica sisters, if they're not in it, nobody's going to back this thing.
Oh, yeah.
So, sure enough, they are.
Well, at least they didn't give you a cardboard, background or stickers or something like that,
Yeah.
But Ian says at this rate's going, it won't be back. The numbers have hardly moved since the first few days, possibly a last-minute surge. Yeah, but like in the Marvel, the Giant Man, the Marvel Haslab, I can't remember the last day. I think it was 8,000 backers or something. It's something insane.
Wow.
So there will be a surge at the very end. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, there definitely will be.
Yeah.
For example, like Toy Sapiens, they haven't made this available, but they made the Ghost available.
Yeah.
I don't see why they wouldn't make this available. And once you add on like different retailers that are selling it overseas that have a partnership with Hasbro, I think you'll see the numbers go up a lot. Now, if Toy Sapiens offers this, believe it or not, with the conversion rate, I would be paying less than what you would be paying. I would not have to pay tax because tax would be included, and I would not have to pay shipping, and I'd only have to put 30% down. I wouldn't have to put the whole thing down. So if Toy Sapiens offered it, I'd probably back it. I'd back one.
Yeah.
Just to have it. If I only have to put 30% down.
Yeah.
Why not? We'll see.
Next page. Hey, Robert, take over. I got to get my charger for my computer.
All right. So people who are new to the vintage collection, you have the exclusive De Woer Kade figure. So he's the bartender in it. I know that they've put out this figure multiple times in the 3 3/4 inch line. How this one differs, I mean, you get this great pose here, which is really, it's straight out of the movie. He's got that angle and he's pointing, we don't serve their kind here. I think that's great. You get him on the cod, that vintage cod, which is also pretty great. Now, why does he have this blast? Why do they all have to come with a gun? I don't, like.
And DC doesn't come with anything, right?
It was nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
They need a handoff with McFarlane.
Like for something like this, I don't necessarily, because it's an exclusive and he's a bartender and at no point does he hold the gun. I don't need him to come with a gun. I just don't. Just more plastic adding to the price. So he's going to come with a blaster accessory, which we just said there, a cup, and an alternate cup holding hand. So, I mean, who's going to have him holding the gun? I don't know. But he does look good. I mean, he looks good for, 3 3/4 inch. They've really upped their game in that department. I gotta tip my hat to them for that. All right. He's not here, so I'm just going to go to the next slide. So it looks pretty good. He's a handsome guy.
For its size, it's really well done.
He looks like he could be out of The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Like Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what you get. So, for people who collect this scale, they've been invested now for some of them for 50 years. Mm-hmm. So, like Ryan was saying, they're the people with the money. They're the people who are willing to back these things because they've already you know, they've nurtured their collection, they've developed their collection over time, and you know, a lot of them are older guys, you know, in their late 40s, 50s, and so on, who have a bit of disposable income more than people who are collecting the 6-inch probably, and they're going to spend the money on it. What do you guys think about this figure?
For its size, it looks really good.
Yeah, for the size, it looks great.
I mean, it's definitely better than they used to. I mean, I look at my picture of my old figures at that size, and they weren't even in the ballpark. But
no.
Yeah, I don't collect that size in particular anymore.
Yeah, I don't collect that. Well, I do collect them, but I get the retro ones.
Yeah.
I get the retro ones from the original trilogy. And I open them up, and I don't keep anything in the package.
After my last stint, I don't believe in keeping it in the box. If you bought it, it's
like this one was sitting here, and it's got a hole right here now. It's just sitting around. I'm gonna have to open it up today. Just play with it. But yeah, keeping stuff in the package, like Al's he's got a garage that he can't even put a car in.
There's only a few stuff I still keep in the package, and it's mainly my Skeletor stuff, and that's only because a lot of the Skeletor figures I have them on the wall, like in a display. But all the good stuff I've opened up, like all the Mondo Skeletors. I got a couple doubles of like the retro Master of the Universe stuff that I'll open up and have part of the display. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's just more fun to play with them and pose them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I've got a ton of stuff from the Power of the Force line and whatnot, from the 90s. When I'm going back to the States in August for about a month, a little bit more than a month. And I'm going to go, all the stuff is in my mother's attic. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to take stuff out, and I'm going to open them up with my kids. All That's that stuff. Awesome. I got like 6 AT-ATs, maybe.
Oh man.
I got a ton of stuff there.
More than they had in the movie.
What's that?
I said it's more than they had in the movie.
I know, right? So
army building.
I'm going to open it all up. Yeah. And my brother's got young kids, and whatever they want, here you go. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any connection to the stuff anymore, like I did maybe years ago when I was buying it, because of the distance and in time and space. But these are for kids. Like, let them open it and let them play with it. I'm probably going to open up a few hundred figures and probably about 20-40 vehicles when I'm there, and just watch my kids and my nephews have a great time. It's gonna be awesome. So Ryan is back.
Hey, did you say it comes with a cup also?
Yeah, the cup's right there.
I mean, that's a must if you're getting this. You gotta get an extra cup.
Yeah. That's the breaker right there.
Yeah. And I think where you got the stretch goals next, or the tiers.
All right, so next slide.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, we have the Tonica
you already talked about that.
Yeah.
So everybody wanted them. So one passed away, and the one wants to make some money. So
that's the thing. The one who was adamant she didn't want it, she's dead.
Yeah.
And the one who's alive, she wants it. And
so she needs some retirement, man. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Hey, if you're gonna spend money, you better get the deluxe there. So the picture with the deluxe on the right, to me, that's how you have to have it set up. Put a little bit of sand around it. You got yourself a nice diorama, right? So that's a no-brainer. You got to spend at least $500 plus on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want extra cups, get another regular. But I mean, you can stack them, stacks on stacks here. So I don't know, man. I see people in the chat are backing it, but I will not be backing this. It's just a whole nother. If I got this, I would have to buy so many figures. You can't have an empty bar. Or
Well, if you have the figures, it's a must.
Yeah.
If you already have the figures, it's a must. If you've been collecting this line for 10, 20, 30, 40 years,
Oh yeah,
it's a must.
Now this makes you start thinking, what are they going to do with Marvel? I mean, I would like maybe, I don't know, something with X-Men, with the diorama. G.I. Joe. They always say we can't have what we want, but eventually they hopefully will cave in.
They need to make some play sets for the Joes.
Yeah,
We need some bases.
So this is just on the right sides, all the extra stuff. 20 more cups. 6 additional round tables. Now, do you guys think these tables are detailed enough? I mean, I don't know. They look kind of plasticky to me, but that's what it is.
The tables leave a lot to be desired.
Yeah. And, for 500, I think you should probably get a little bit more detailing on those things.
The walls too. I would have liked to have seen them do a little more detail too, a little more shading.
Yeah, and people have pointed out there's no lighting or anything on that.
The lack of lighting, that's really disappointing.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to try and do though.
I mean, it's not like they don't incorporate it into other things.
Yeah, if you're talented, I mean, you can add a lot to this, but I'm not one of these guys that can add additional things on, brighten up a little bit, paint it. I'd be afraid, spending $500 and then trying to touch it up.
Yeah.
Scares me a little bit.
I want to
we have Jason.
I want to point out Ray here. Ray.
It's been a long time out.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to do, but it's a $500 toy. You shouldn't have to, and boy, if you mess it up, that's hard to cover up once you paint things.
Well, you don't. Not only do you paint,
Ryan, unfortunately.
I was saying, Jason. Not only are you a painter now, you're also you also do lights. You got the lighting on the Millennium Falcon. You can do it all.
It would take some time, but it'd be fun to do. I haven't fired that airbrush up in probably about 15, 20 years, but it could be done. That'd be easier to dry brush that than airbrush it.
Ooh, 11,000 backers. So, your first unlock is at 11,000. I think this is obtainable. I definitely think this will be backed. Tier 1, I think, Greedo is a must. Now, there Robert, how many times have they made Greedo, though?
23?
There's been a lot.
Yeah, so I don't know how much of a good choice this is, but maybe I'm wrong. But you do get a cup. Yeah, you get a cup. So lots of reuse here. Lots of reuse. I mean, God, you got to have a cup with everyone. It's funny that we're pointing this out. I did not even realize that when I was making these slides. But tier 1, obviously, I think they're going to reach that. Now, tier 2, tier 3 might be something different. I think this coming, well, I don't know how many people collect every line, but, there's a lot of G.I. Joe people that collect Star Wars. So, and G.I. Joe Haslab next month is going to be a definitely one that's going to be back.
Well, Ray doesn't want a G.I. Joe Haslab. Ray doesn't want one.
Yeah.
And, Ray, I'm sorry, man, you're wrong. We need another G.I. Joe Haslab.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Those are the only ones that I will consistently back.
Yeah, and multiples, right? So
multiples.
Yeah, you can't have, it'd be kind of cool to have a little Cantina town, but
well,
I would have to get rid of my Lego City behind me. I could do it, but
for me, I don't know if you touch on this later in the slides, but there's 2 things that I want to see for Haslab for Star Wars in this scale. I want to see a Death Star playset.
Yeah.
and I want to see a radio controlled sand crawler that's somewhat to scale. Why can't we get those?
They made a sand crawler before, didn't they? It's just the shape was all
back in the 70s. They had a
Yeah.
remote control one, and they also had a shaped one as well. But like, you know, why can't you make those things? Like, these are things that a lot of people could really back. Like, you know, when I'm stacking stuff, like I said, the original Star Wars Death Star playset, it went up and it was great. And you could buy a couple and connect them, and they could be, you know, circular.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want to do is you'd have, you know, base piece that you could fit on top of base piece, on top of base piece. At the end, you'd have like the elevator that would connect all of the floors, and you could have all of these things going on. I think it would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
It would be so cool.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know.
Oh, and then
Now this guy, Nubrin Leeds.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this one?
Well, I mean, I think this is a good choice to put it in.
Yeah.
You know, you could have done away with the Greedo, but I mean, 4 hands, 1 cup.
Yeah. Sounds like a problem.
I think this should have been tier 1, to be honest with you.
It should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been.
And to be honest, I think I would love if they would have put 2 figures in 1 tier. To me, that would be great. But, you know, they got to stretch it out here. And, hey, interchangeable hose. I know people have pointed that out. Because, you know, with one shaped with the S curve, so he can enjoy his beverage. So, again,
it's a beverage set.
I'm going to tell you, they did drop the ball. They really should have, for nostalgic purposes only, they should have made a blue Snaggletooth figure as one of the tiers. They really should have. Because of that figure and, you know, its place in those original figures in terms of being one of the most sought after and hard to find. You don't include it in the Cantina where he's from as one of the tiers? They really should have done that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, who needs the Greedo? There's so many Greedos. You don't need this Greedo.
It's crazy.
But you need his cup.
Yeah. And the Wolfman comes with a really big cup.
Oh,
he's thirsty.
You got that 64 ounce.
Yeah. So someone asked if they sit. They definitely sit. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No gun. No, he does have a gun.
Yeah. Now 17,000. I just don't see them backing 17,000 sets of this.
There's no way.
Now the Ghost, was that 20,000? I don't even remember. How many backers was the Ghost? I don't know.
I think it was a little bit more than 20.
Yeah, the Ghost, I was more likely to back the Ghost last year. But I did not at the last moment because of what was going on at that time with other things I collect. So the Star Wars Ghost last year had 21,000, well, close to 22,000 backers. I think more people are willing to collect vehicles than dioramas. Could be because of shelf reasons. It just could be the casual collector like me. I wouldn't have to buy a lot of figures.
You don't got to populate your Cantina with 100 figures.
Yeah, I mean, if I got the Cantina, it looked like it was, you know, before opening or at closing time or something, you know? I mean, just wouldn't look right. So, yeah, last year, I think the Ghost got a lot of people backing it right at the beginning. This one currently, I think, is what, over 4,000 right now? I'll pull that up. So right now the Cantina is at 4,752. You have 24 more days, so it's more than halfway
And it's
back.
barely moved since day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you typically have a big, a slowdown period, and then the last couple of days usually starts picking up. So realistically, I would say it's going to get backed, but tier 1, I don't know. Is there a big push for it? Do people already have figures that want this?
Yeah, I mean, Ray kind of touches on it. Do we know how many Star Wars collectors there are out there? There's a ton.
Oh yeah.
But we're laughing about it, and we're laughing about the cups because we're laughing about the value, right? Like if we think it's overpriced to begin with, and what we're getting are these cups that half of them you're going to lose, and you don't even need them to begin with. They could have really given you more value in other places, like Ryan had said earlier, like the lighting. Like we could have had some lighting in this thing, which would made it so much more appealing. But the Star Wars fans, they've been around, they've bought a lot of stuff, they've invested decades in the IP or the toys or whatever it is, and they have a connection to it, and they don't particularly like what they're being offered. So they're upset about it. And people can label them toxic, or people can label them as crybabies or whatever. But if you don't like something, you say you don't like something. You don't have to attack other people if they like it. I mean, nobody's doing that. Nobody should do that. But if you don't like something, you voice your opinion. And if you don't voice your opinion, nobody's going to hear it. And occasionally the toy companies do listen. Occasionally they do. And they adjust. Hot Toys listens sometimes. Sometimes. Hasbro listens sometimes. So, letting people know your displeasure, letting people know that you think it's too expensive, letting people know that they should have done this instead of this, they should have done A instead of B. Those things are helpful. But it depends on how you do it. How do you go about doing it? So.
And I'm on eBay right now, and there's a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of figures for sale right now. So positives, negatives, and what's the verdict? So positives definitely is you have the ability to purchase this, right? They made an option. Positives are the sisters being available, having the ability to get a diorama, current one that you don't see a lot of. But the negatives, I think, is definitely the price. I think, like you said, you think it's $100 too much. I think that's a starting point. Definitely the Greedo figure. I don't think needs to be in there. A little bit more detail. The lighting.
The lighting could have been just with the bar. I mean, you could have just done it there.
Yeah.
I mean, the modularity, that's understandable, but you could have had self-contained lighting in each one.
Yeah, definitely. And the painting, the paintwork, the bar looks pretty good. But at the same time, what are you looking at? How much is it touched up on the computer for the video?
Sure.
And then the negatives for me is if it's something I don't collect already, then there's going to be a big investment, space, money, and then just purchasing figures to fill up that Cantina. So my verdict is I will not be backing this, but I hope it does get backed. I think it will get backed. Will all the tiers be unlocked? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and then a lot of the new collectors in Star Wars, I don't see a lot of new people getting into Star Wars anymore. Just when I talk to kids, most of them do not know anything about Star Wars unless their mom or dad's a big fan, and they make them watch.
Forces it down their throat.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, my son, I don't know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but my son's, it's almost like I'm forcing him to watch Star Wars nowadays. And, Mandalorian, he did like the first season, second season. Some episodes were, fillers. But the latest the latest episode 3, I mean, it was bad. You know,
Yeah.
It's not kid friendly, I don't think, but you know, I'd rather just wait for it to be all released and then just watch it.
Yeah.
Episode to episode is just a killer right now. It's not the most entertaining stuff, but even Andor.
The only thing I'm even remotely looking forward to is Andor.
Yeah,
that was so good.
But like for kids though, do you think that's something they will like to watch? I don't know.
Andor, no.
No,
it doesn't gain their attention. It doesn't keep their attention. But for our age, yeah, I liked it. We understand story arcs and how they're producing these episodes. Usually they're in a cluster of 3 or 4, so you get a little story arc going on. But I mean, it's crazy to talk to kids nowadays and you ask them. One, they don't watch anything. I don't feel like it has to be short and sweet TikTok videos and YouTube, and that's about it. They don't have an attention span. So again, like I've said before, if things we like, these kids aren't going to like in 10 years from now. Your collection that you have the opportunity to collect over the years might not be around in 10 years. And I remember years ago they always geared towards the kids on toys. Now I think they're coming around figuring out to be successful, they got to look at the middle-aged guys, those are the ones that are purchasing things. If it wasn't for me, would my son like buying these expensive sets or building these? No, there's no way. Baseball.
It's different here.
Yeah,
it's different here. Toys are still big here for kids.
Yeah,
they are still big because there's a huge toy train market here.
Yeah,
huge, and they're great. Like my kids have been playing with the trains yesterday and today. I bought batteries for the trains. So Tomica puts out these trains. It's called Pla Rail, and most of the time you get like a front car, a back car, and a middle car, and they'll give you these blue plastic tracks that you can shape and you can put the pieces together, you can elevate, it can spin, all these different things, and they're a lot of fun for kids.
Yeah,
and kids still play with it, and it's great. I don't let my kids play video games at all. We don't, like, I have a PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
my kids had no idea that we had it because I don't use it. I only use it for like Blu-ray. It's a Blu-ray player for me. And I don't let them do games.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to be doing games at that age. Like my kids are 8, 6, and 4.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, maybe we'll see. But right now, no. If you want something to do, draw a picture, look at a book, go out and hunt lizards. They like hunting lizards here. Or, play with your toys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, like there's a convention called PowerCon in Columbus, Ohio. And I told my son, I said, I'm going to take you there because he's more interested in like how they're made. And I think that convention is probably more suitable for him. Like Gridiron Studios, just the 3D printing. Kids are interested in those things. But, you brought up a good toy line called Micro Machines. Like, where are those nowadays? I mean, I remember having friends had tons of them. I thought they were the coolest things in the world. But those weren't costing kids a fortune to purchase. A comic book, I got the Destro or issue 1, and I had to take it off Facebook because I thought people were going to come after me because I got a week early. But that cost, I think, $5 for one issue. And I'm a true believer you got to have a paperback. I mean, kids can't go from one issue to the next and buying, spending $5 each time. Good luck getting a kid nowadays to work, right? But my biggest fear is the idea of collecting. Eventually, people won't collect like how we collected or what we're collecting nowadays.
Yeah. It's a different world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they collect iPads now.
Yeah. Cell phone.
Yeah. If there's no screen, it's not interesting.
Yeah, I get made fun of because of my cell phone. I'm like, well, it still works. You know, my daughter has the newest one, and they tell me how much extra it's going to be a month, and it just blows me away.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to back this or no?
No, I mean I'm in the same boat. I'm not a collector of the the
Of that scale.
3.7. Yeah, that 3.75-inch scale. It does look cool. We have our jokes about the cups and all, but I think that's kind of cool details to have a full on cantina with tables and accessories. So I'm
Make
glad
them
for the
look better
people.
though. Make them look.
Oh yeah. I mean, the detailing would be a lot better, and I'm sure there'll be people customizing and painting it a little bit more. But I'm glad for people that are looking forward to it because
No,
overall
absolutely. I think that's great.
it's a great it's a cool set. And if you have the space for it, I'm sure it's going to have lots of shelf presence, especially if you fill it up with a bunch of figures.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm in the same boat. It's not my forte in collecting, so I won't be backing it.
Ryan and I are in the same boat. We're fully backing the next Joe Haslab.
Oh, I
which is
100%
rumored,
expect that.
which is rumored for the end of next month. Each one of those is going to be up there in price. I want 4 or 5. Ryan, I know, wants 3. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
3. I'm gonna force
Yeah.
my son to buy 1. So
buy it or you're moving out.
well, that's the deal. I mean,
bag.
he's at the age he needs to invest. I mean, I can't be doing all this.
Yeah. Jason, no, you're not getting it?
No, I mean, for me, a lot of it's shelf space.
Yeah.
I don't have any place to put it, even if it were my thing. I think the details, from what I saw, the details in the upper part of the bar, the piping and the stuff up there, I thought was really pretty cool.
It looks really good.
It's a nice looking set. I just don't have a bunch of figures to put in it that size or shelf space to keep it on. So that makes it hard. That's made it hard with a lot of, not for Ryan, but for me, for a lot of the Lego sets is where do you put it? I was wanting that big at, and it's just, I got no space. That Falcon takes up half the room. But
I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Once I start getting the Legos, got to figure that out.
But I do think it's cool that people who would love that set get the opportunity. So it's, maybe not for everybody, but as long as it's for some, that's a good thing.
Well, not having space has never stopped me. I have the sail barge. That was the first.
Cool.
I have the Razor Crest. I have I have Hot Toys vehicles all around me, still in the boxes. Not having the space is not an issue. My issue is, and this is exclusively the reason that I'm not going to back it, I can't back it at that price knowing that the Joe Haslab is coming the next month.
Yeah.
If I can get it from Toy Sapiens at 30% down, I'll back it. I'll back one. But if there were no Joe Haslab coming, and then in autumn, we're getting a Ecto 1.
Ooh, that is awesome.
Haslab. 1/12 scale. 1/12 scale.
But how many cups did those sets come with?
You gotta.
I do have a
three.
Ecto one, and that's a fun set.
That has to come with lights and sound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it should come with a USB plug, like the Blitzway one does, that you can put in music. The Ghostbusters song, or Saving the Day, or whatever it is, that you could incorporate music into it. That would be so cool. But I'm backing that. Unless it sucks. Of course. So I think we've finished what we had planned in terms of the in terms of the things that we wanted to talk about. Yes, does anybody have anything else? We have one other thing. Don't leave the chat. Don't leave the stream. There's one other thing. Don't leave. But does anyone have anything else that they want to add before we do that?
I would definitely go over the membership tier, the 99-cent one, and whatever
Yep,
the benefits.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that again. So let me just pull that up one more time. So if you're a little bit late, we're doing membership now for the Guide You Daddy channel. So you can go in this video, if you're on YouTube, go into the description and there will be a link there where you can join. It's 99 cents a month. And what we offer, or what Kaiju Daddy offers, is you're going to get exclusive content. You're going to have exclusive giveaways. There will be exclusive Q&A streams. So more than likely what we're going to do is, after the next live stream, which will be the end of the month, we'll have a members only live stream where people can ask questions directly about Mafex or about Amazing Yamaguchi, whatever it is. It's really hard to kind of respond in real time as we're trying to go over different topics. But if we have a stream that's exclusive for members to ask certain questions, specifically, like as an example for me, when I go to Project 1/6, what are they alluding to? What do they have in the store? What do I think is coming? Things like that. What is my impression of this figure versus this figure? We can do that. But I think one of the main things that's going to hopefully get people's attention is the exclusive content. So the content right now, if you're a member, you can go to the members section, community section on my YouTube page, the channel page, and you can see photos and a video of the John Wick in hand, the Mafex John Wick that I was able to get. You can have an idea of what it looks like. In the video is about 24 seconds, so it's not that long. I talk a little bit about my impressions of the figure. You can look at the figure and kind of see what I'm talking about. Things like that. I am going to be doing videos that will be exclusive for members. I'll be doing videos that members will have access to first. Next month is the big month for Mafex collectors because it's the Metacom Summer 2024 exhibition, and they will display dozens of new prototypes that they will be releasing throughout the next year, the following year. So this is a big event. You're going to see photos online from different retailers, like Amiyami will have photos, but a photo is one thing. Seeing a video with depth and seeing how it looks compared scale wise to other things, I think is a totally different animal. And you get a little bit of commentary, obviously, from me, my impression. What do I think looking at it? Pictures can be deceiving. What do I think looking at it? What are my impressions? So for that, I will be doing that video exclusive for members only for probably the first 1 or 2 days. And then after that, I will most likely make it available to other people, but to regular viewers. But I will have specific pictures and video of the same figures that I will keep for members, that only members can access, only members can see. So what I'm planning to do with the money is to try to upgrade the Streamlab that we're using to make it a little bit more smooth. It's a little bit hard with the free version, which is what we're using right now. It's hard to kind of move from thing to thing, and it slows down and it gives us a bit of hiccup. So invest some money in that. Maybe invest in a Stream Deck, which will allow us to also incorporate a couple other things into the stream as well, just to make it a better experience for everybody. Some of the giveaways, there'll be another tier that I'll announce later. The initial tier right now, the only tier is the 99-cent tier, but there'll be another tier that's more money that I'll most likely announce at the end of the month in the video and also on the Don't Tell My Wife. That will be more money, and you'll get you'll get more perks and more benefits. So we'll go over that later. But just know that there will be another tier that that materializes later on. So if you're having trouble joining, you want to become a member. If you're having trouble joining, just reach out to me or reach out on the Don't Tell My Wife Facebook page to one of the admins. Specifically me or Ryan, if you want to kind of ask some questions about how to sign up and whatnot. So I think that covers it at this point. Next stream, which will be at the end of the month, we'll have a Q&A for members only. So if you want to, ask us questions, that will be the next stream, not today. It'll be the next stream. Al, are you good? Are you ready?
I am ready. Yes.
All right.
Ready.
Okay. All right. So as you know, we do try to do different things. Now, Ryan on the Don't Tell My Wife page is doing a mystery box, which if you want to be a part of that, the information's there. Ryan has been kind enough to put together a bunch of different things that he's going to put in a box and choose a winner. The criteria basically is you have to be a member of the group by the 15th, which is today here. So you have to be a member of the group by the 15th. That's the cutoff date. And Ryan will basically put the names of people who are the most active, because we get that data. The people who are most active in the group, he'll put the names together and he'll choose a winner. And that person who is very active in the group, commenting, posting things, just getting discussions going, that person will get the mystery box. Now, if you're in the United States, Ryan said he'll ship it at his own cost, which is awesome. If you're outside the United States, Ryan said that if you're willing to pay the shipping, then you can also enter. Now, you have to know that you don't know what's in the box. So if you agree to it and you pay for the shipping, that's it. Like, you paid for the shipping. There's no refund return with shipping. But Ryan will make clear, or he'll give more hints of what's inside later on, closer, I think, to the drawing, so that people have an idea whether or not they actually want to be a part of it, if you're not in the United States. Anything else you want to add about that, Ryan?
Just, it's going to be on a wheel, so we're going to do eliminations. We'll spin it. It's going to be the top 10 according to Facebook for the last 2 months or 60 days. I forget what it tells us. But whoever's left, the last one standing on the wheel wins, okay? So that's how we're going to do that. But again, it's free stuff. Unless you're international, you got to pay for shipping. But we'll, if that happens, we'll discuss it and we'll figure something out. But it's just to get you guys more active, and I've noticed a lot more activity. I think we were up, I forget what it is, 17% more comments than it was, last 28 days or something like that. So it's working. So again, more people involved, the better it is as a community and as a Facebook group page. So that's all I got to say about that.
Forrest Gump style, huh?
Yeah.
I just want to let people know that we are policing. We're monitoring what's going on in the group. We're trying to make it a great community, a great place for people to be able to look for things that they want, sell things that they are trying to get rid of, or trade for things that they want. And again, we do our best to try to weed out scammers, weed out people who have Facebook profiles that are a little bit suspect, or activity that's suspect. Yesterday, I got rid of 4 people, 3 people right off the bat, and then 1 person who joined, who immediately tried to contact people to sell them things. One of the main things that we do in the group is that if you want to sell something, if you want to trade something, there's criteria that has to be met. No, it's not photos. You have to submit a video, because Photoshop, some people are very good at it. Some people can scam others with Photoshop. With video, it's a lot harder. So in order to post anything for sale, if you're looking to sell something, if you're looking to trade something, you have to post a video from different angles. You have to move around. It can't be straight on. You have to move and show that you actually physically have the thing in your presence, saying your name, saying the date, saying the name of the item, and if possible, if applicable, the person that you're selling it to or trading it with. We're doing our best to try to just make it a great place for people to come and gather and talk and share their love of collecting. So sometimes things get by us. The AI, if we have an hour to okay or say no to potential memberships, but sometimes we're working or we're sleeping or whatever it is, and the Facebook AI will make that determination itself. So sometimes it'll let people in that we normally would not let in. So it's a constant effort of policing and looking and watching and trying to see what's going on. If you suspect someone is trying to scam you, reach out to one of the admins and let us know, and we'll look into it.
Yeah,
So
and I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but the pre-order links, they've been missing. So I don't know what happened to that chat. So who knows? I know myself got flagged for spam, so maybe that whole chat got taken down. Who knows?
Yeah, that's been an issue for us. The chats and the AIs just identifying certain things as spam. We're trying to work around it. The chat is exclusively for drops, for links. Try not to comment in it. We will then, once it's there, we'll try to put it in the main Facebook group so everybody has access to it. Everyone can see it. But some of these things sell out in seconds or minutes. So getting it into the chat as quickly as possible, and people being able to access that chat and then try to get it before we even have time to put it on the Facebook page, is one of the things that Ryan thought of doing towards the beginning of the page. And it's worked out really, really well. So over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of comments on different links. Try not to comment there. We delete them. If you continue to post comments, you'll be removed from the group. The reason we do that is because there are people all over the world, every time zone, who are members of this group. Me, for instance, it's 10:30 in the morning on Saturday. You guys, it's 9:30 at night in a lot of places on Friday. One of our admins is not here because it's now probably 2:30 in the morning or 3:30 in the morning for him. So there's people in all the time zones. When you're commenting and chatting, there's notifications. So try not to do that. Be respectful. Understand that this is a link for drops of items that sell out quickly. You don't necessarily have to put a link in for a Big Bad Toy Store Marvel Legends pre-order. Those aren't going to sell out in minutes or even hours. So just use your best judgment and understand what the chat is really for. All right. So this is Father's Day weekend. Jason is sporting his very awesome father and son shirt.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I got my dad, a real American hero. I rock this outside so everybody knows where I'm from.
I got my shirt off the floor.
Well, you're totally in the dark, man. You got to invest in a light.
I'm in the basement, drop ceilings, But yeah, I don't know what happened. I had a His Tank shirt that I just bought when I got my package in, just to wear and open the box. That's how much of a dork I am. But I think my daughter hated it so much. I think she hides all my cool shirts. So I have no idea where all my cool shirts. Huh?
You sure your wife doesn't do it?
No, she don't do laundry. She's been sending me a text. What are you doing down there? I don't know. She doesn't watch TV either, so
All right. So,
who knows?
so today we're going to be giving out this. This is the Infinity War SH Figuarts Thor. This was a Tamashii web exclusive. It's still sealed in the package. If you were active today in the chat, Al was taking notes and jotting names down, and he's added those names to a wheel.
Cool.
I don't know. I don't think we can access what is on his screen, but we're going to have him spin it. And whatever name pops up is going to be the winner.
All right. Let's see.
So before
okay.
we spin,
Okay.
if you win, you agree to pay for the shipping. So if you don't want to pay for the shipping, remember I'm in Japan. Wherever you are in the world, understand that it's not going to be free. The figure itself is free. But if you want it, if you win and you want it, let me know and just, pay for the shipping and I'll send it your way. If you don't want it, say so and we'll spin again. And someone else will have an opportunity. The only thing is you have to be in the chat now. If you were in the chat earlier and you left, you're out of luck. Okay? So let's go. You ready, Al?
All right. I'm ready. Let's see here. Okay, so I posted the names I have on the wheel. Sorry, the formatting's a little off, but those are all the names that are on the list or the wheel. So good luck, everybody. I will spin it right now. Oh, the suspense that no one can see except me.
It's you.
Yeah.
No, it's me. I won. Yeah. No, so I have a winner, and it is the Sith Fire 30.
The Sith Fire 30.
Congrats.
Congratulations, man.
Let's find out. I thought I just saw him comment recently. Fire
We went
30.
from 24 to 22 like instantly. So
So give him maybe like a minute or
Yeah, we'll give him a minute.
okay. So he has to be here. So let's hold off on the congratulations. We don't know if he really won yet.
My wife overheard. Don't tell my wife. That is awesome.
We need that "Don't Tell My Wife" merch soon, right? That's what we need.
Yeah. We're gonna have to put something together. That
Yeah.
you need graphic
that'll go
artists
over
out
really
there?
well.
Yeah.
All right. I think maybe we got to spin it again.
Okay. So let me. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to also just remove their name.
It's funny. I won. I think I won two.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sith Fire 30.
Oh.
He already has it.
Oh yeah. Oh.
He already has it.
Okay.
All right. So we're spinning again, right?
All right. So
we don't want two of them.
all right. So it's the Figuarts. It's the Infinity War Thor from the Tamashii website. I think this might have been made available by Bluefin back in the day. But here in Japan, you could only get it as a web exclusive. So that's why it comes with the shipper. It's still sealed. I never opened it. I got two. This is my second one. So.
All right. So let me go ahead and spin again. I took Sith off of the list. So let's.
Thank you, Sith Fire, for letting us do it again. You already have it. You could have said nothing and gotten a second figure, but we appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. All right, so I'm spinning again, and the suspense is all for me. And we have a winner, Jedi Nut.
Jedi Nut.
Nice.
He's been really active today. Where is he?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. Jedi Nut, you still here with us?
Yeah.
You gotta.
He just
got
had the comment about his wife.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
She probably
go.
turned it off.
You got a
Where
Thor
is
for
he?
the. I know he's a backer for the Haslab Cantina. So we got Thor. Let's start off with a couple cups.
I think he passed out. I think he fainted.
Maybe his wife caught him.
Hey, I've won Hot Toys before. Nobody was on the stream, and it was like
Really?
the 6th time. Oh yeah. Hey, one
I
time
didn't
I
do
won.
those streams.
One time I had on mute. It was 6 Scale Mafia. It was I think it was his very first one he did, and I won IG-11, I think.
Wow.
Yes.
Now I have 2 of them.
Come on, Jedi Nut. Where are you? Don't drop that comment and then bounce. What is this?
Oh, it is Jedi Nut. I thought you were just making a
Yeah.
joke about it. Okay.
No.
Jedi's winning, Sith winning.
I think he got spin again.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, he got
No, he's
So
not,
I think
his
I
wife.
think this comment tells us why he's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
He
said,
said, "What are you watching?" I said, "I can't tell you."
She said,
Yeah.
"Get off or else." That's what
he
happened.
got put in a spouse prison.
That's why you. That's why you have a basement.
I wish we had basements out here. That would be nice.
And I have
Yeah,
foam
no basements
insulation.
here.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess just let me know. I'll spin again.
Oh, come on.
Come on, man.
And this is the after show,
Someone
guys.
call him. Wake him up.
I think he was one of us old guys. We'll get one for the team.
Past my bedtime.
I guess no Siths or Jedi are taking this prize tonight.
What's weird is we're still at the same amount of people, though.
Oh, hey, there he is. I see him. Hey.
All right, so Jedi Nut, you won this figure. This is the Thor from Infinity War, the SH Figuarts. It was a web exclusive here in Japan. It's still sealed in the shipper. The Sith Fire already won it before you, but he already has it, so he said spin again. Do you have this figure? All right, you want it. You have to pay for shipping. And it's going to be international shipping unless you're living in Japan. Do you still want this? Please let us know.
Or do you take door number 2?
He said, "Gimme, do you still want it? Yes or no? You have to pay for the shipping. Shipping will be,
He says,
I don't
"Gimme."
know, maybe $20 to $30 or something like that.
He wants it.
The shipper.
He says, "Gimme," so I guess that's where he
Well,
wants
he said gimme before I said that.
Oh,
so
okay.
I just want to confirm.
Yeah. Where is Jedi Nut from?
Yeah, where are you? Where are you from? Where are you?
Oh wait, he thought it was Anakin.
I thought it was Anakin.
Oh, that's at the next stream.
No, it wants Thor.
I think he's talking about the waffle.
Thor.
Yeah, the waffle will be the next stream.
That's the one where got to pay for your spots too. This one was
Yeah,
free.
you gotta pay for your spot. This is just a web, not a web, a stream giveaway, live stream giveaway.
Put a 1 in the chat if you want this. Right now. Put a 1 in the chat.
How hard do you have to work to give away a hard to find figure?
Yeah.
It's a good figure.
Yeah.
It's a good figure.
Oh,
I don't buy crap figures.
Oh, he said he'll take it. He'll take it.
He'll take it.
Okay, all right, cool, awesome. So, you're in the Facebook group, correct? Jedi Nut? if everybody's hitting one now.
Reveal your real name, Jedi Nut. We need your real
Jedi
name.
Nut, send me
Here.
a direct message in the on Facebook if you're in the Facebook group, and send me your information, and we can set up how to get this to you. Is that all right? Got to answer. I don't want to end this stream with uncertainty. Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah, he's good.
I will announce also, I said it kind of earlier. So I have some of these. These are Japanese posters.
Nice.
So they're illuminated.
That's cool.
I'll give some of these out to members during the next stream. So if you're interested, I'll send 2, so you'll have 1 of each, and you know, maybe you can frame them or whatever you want to do with them. They're really cool. It's in Japanese. I don't know how clearly you can say it.
And that's what the theaters have too, I think.
Do the American theaters have this one?
Yeah, that's the 2 I saw up on the wall at the theater.
They have both? Yeah?
Yeah, I saw both.
Oh, that's cool. So anyway, you could have this. This is, you know, you can put them in 2 small frames and have them on your wall or whatever. If you want it, we can give those away during the next stream as well. So for members only, we'll probably do that during the members Q&A. So so I appreciate everybody coming and stopping by and contributing. We'll go around now. Anybody who wants to add a little something before we finish? Start with Jason.
I just want to thank you guys for letting me join you. I've had a great time, and it's been a lot of fun. I'd encourage everybody to check out the Don't Tell My Wife page. It's a great group of people. You get a lot of good information, and everybody, unlike other groups I've seen and been a part of, everyone is super supportive. So it's a really cool place to be. And some of the photography, mine is garbage, but some of the photography there is really, really impressive.
Yeah,
people are
some of
doing
it is
cool
awesome
stuff to see.
Yeah.
So thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Al?
Another great time. Glad we were able to get Jason on here. He's been one of our active members, posting, commenting. Pleasure to have you on here. Hopefully we have you again another time. Yeah, no worries. Local California guy.
Yeah.
We're neighbors, basically. We're neighbors.
We're pretty close.
Yeah. So again, it was a great time today. Brought back a lot of memories talking about all this, you know, our journeys into collecting. I made a comment the other day. Was it, what's the name of the place? I'm already forgetting. The castle place. Kitty World?
Oh,
Children's Palace?
Yeah. I remember that place, but I never knew the name. Like growing up, I just totally forgot about it. I have vague memories, but you know, bringing it up again, wow, now I remember the spot. So, you know, talking about all this old nostalgic things was great because now I remember certain things that were just forgotten in time in my brain. But thank you again, guys. Pleasure as always. Looking forward to the next stream. And again, to all the members, thanks for making the community a great place to walk.
Thank you, Al. Ryan?
Okay, 2 things. Savage Crucible has a sale. I think they only have like 38 left. The Shadow Slate. It's only $19 per figure. I would go on there and get at least 3 to 4. Okay, 3 to 4. It's a basic figure. They have a flat rate shipping of $15. Today, I spent a lot of money on this. Everybody's saying Shadow Slate. And people, you go in the quantity and put like $999 and it will tell you how much they have left in stock. So I would recommend that. This line right here, I'm not going to show you what it is. Well, you probably could pause. I don't know if you could pause it, but you better get on Jada Toys. I'm telling you right now. These figures, best bang for your buck right now. I think they're $24.99. If you go on eBay, there's an exclusive. You're basically only paying shipping. So what you want to do is you go look for a best offer, and you know if it's $24.99, offer them $35. You're gonna get it right now. So again, if you want that Target exclusive, you can get that. The pink one, I think it's San Diego Comic-Con. exclusive will be out, I think, next month on the 25th. I think that's what it is, 25th, July 25th. Those are really hard to get. So, again, hopefully they open up another pre-order that you can get it in the fall. But that line is pretty nice. They just need to get up their production up to scale. And then there is 2 versions, right? Al, did you get the second version? You want to tell them how you do that? If you can identify the back of the box.
Yeah, so let me see. The first wave I have the first versions. Let me go grab a box real quick.
Okay. But the first, so they changed their factory. So the one factory had issues with I think the paint and some other things, right? So Al's going to show you the back of the box. So which one do you have there?
So I'll show you the Ryu box I have. So this is the first version, which Ryan is correct. If you see comparison videos of the actual figures, they improved the paint apps, and from what I've also seen, some of the joints have been improved as well. But so the old Wave 1 boxes have all 3 characters on the back. The new versions will only have the character that you're buying. So if I bought Ryu version 2, it would just have Ryu right here. And also the date stamps, I believe somewhere on the bottom, it will tell you if it's 2023 or 2024. I'll just grab Bison real quick because I have him. So you can see how Bison, he's one of the newer figures. It's only Bison on the back. There's no second version or first version of Bison with any other characters. But the Ryu, the Fei Long, and the Chun-Li, that's how you'll know if you have version 1 or 2. Version 1, again, has all 3 characters of the wave on the back. Version 2 will only have the character that you're purchasing.
Yeah, and those are the 2 lines right now. 4 Horsemen. I think they have their pre-orders for their new wave open till, I think, the 28th this month. So, again, think ahead of though. You got the G.I. Joe Haslab. You got all these exclusives. You got another Alf that Robert's going to buy at least 2 of those, right? San Diego Comic-Con is going to be coming up. So, I don't know. Choose wisely. Don't spend like some people do. And, take advice from me and save your money.
Don't do as I do.
Yeah.
Ryan, can you repeat the website for the Savage Crucible?
It's just Savage. It's just going to be, if you go on Google, just type in Savage Crucible and it will pop up. I think it's literally savagecrucible.com, but
yeah, we had a couple people asking about it.
Okay, so the order page, it's just savagecrucible.com. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then at the top, you're just going to see shop now. Oh, low battery on this too. So just hit shop now. And again, there's your little message on the top. And the Royal Guard, I got that. I got all of them. The only thing I didn't get, it's like the dinosaur T-Rex looking guy. I didn't get the packs. The Armory character pack. I just got the figures itself. But the Slade is the thing that's going to be sold out first. I mean, it's only $19. But, putting him with, Marvel Legends, Mezco, they're going to look good. Especially if you do pictures. I would get at least 3. You can paint them too. But for $19, and they're, you can articulate them a lot better than 4 Horsemen figures. So that's what I've heard. I've heard their ankles are a little weak, though. So hopefully you don't get a bad one, right? But those are the 2 things I'd be looking for. Especially jump over that Target exclusive on eBay if you don't want to go to Target a bunch of times. You're going to pay for shipping. But like for me, I got free shipping, but basically I paid $10 more. So can't beat that.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, guys. So don't forget the stream at the end of the month. We'll do the Anakin drawing, the waffle drawing. There's a good chance we might have another waffle drawing on the same day, maybe 2 waffles. The Anakin closes this weekend, Sunday. I am doing for the next waffle, it's going to be Nightwing. I know that there's a lot of people who want it from that poll that we did. So if you missed out on it and you want it, I'll make it available, and you can try to get it that way. As I said, it's now sold out in the store. They have a couple available online, but they had one other one in the store, but the box was all beat up. So you never know what you're gonna get when it comes to ordering stuff online. So either way, again, thank you everybody for joining. Appreciate it. See you all hopefully next time, and we'll see you in the Facebook group. So take care. See you all next time.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you.